Yes, I'm back. We're live. Welcome back to my garage, everybody. My name's Mark, and it's very great to have your company here on this Wednesday evening. We are post Bonfire Night now, so the work isn't over. There's still lots of things to take apart and things like that. So that's what I thought I'd do on this stream. But I also thought it'd be fun to jump on the stream as well, chat with you guys, catch up, see how your Bonfire Nights been. I know loads of you have been messaging me since my streams a week or so ago, saying, oh, we miss your streams. When are you going to stream again from your garage? I thought, let's do this. I didn't do this last year. I didn't do like a post Bonfire Night stream from my garage. So I thought, let's do one this year as an extra special thing. So welcome in, everybody. Let's say hello to a few people in the chat. Craig says this will be fun. Mark should be dismantling while I'm assembling. Yes, Craig, I think you've got your display on the 16th, Saturday, I think, to coincide with a birthday. So yeah, you're going to be assembling while I'm disassembling. That's great. Joseph is here. Joseph says, "Way hey, the mighty midweek Marko live stream." That might actually be the first hashtag of this stream, Joseph. There, hashtag mighty midweek Marko. Why not? Can't be bad, he says. 3D printer guys here says hello. Hope everyone is well. Some mad random person. Evening, Mark. Hope all went well over Bonfire Night. I'll be listening, just jumping in the shower before I head out. But I have YouTube on in the bathroom. I'm posh like that. Well, welcome in from your bathroom, from my garage to your bathroom. Welcome to some mad random person. Craig says, evening all. Hope you're all good. Everyone's saying hello to Craig. Everyone's saying hello. Hello, hello. Hashtag mighty Marko, says 3D printer guy. Yes. Hashtag mighty midweek Marko. Maybe we'll make this a regular thing. I don't know. Possibly not. We'll see. So my hands at the moment are clean. By the end of this stream, my hands are going to be absolutely filthy. It's not glamorous, this bit. All the bit that we did in my garage before Bonfire Night, before all the fireworks had fired, that's relatively clean. Once everything's fired, everything is really, really dirty. So if you've never seen kind of what's involved with fireworks after they've been finished, how we take them all apart and kind of dismantle everything and how dirty it is and messy it is, then this will be a bit of an eye-opener. So yeah, I hope your Bonfire Nights were good. My Bonfire Night plans kind of changed. If you're a regular to my channel, you'll probably know about that. I was meant to be doing a big community display in Manchester here, and that got postponed at the last minute, which was very frustrating. But what I did do is I went out and bought some selection boxes, and we did a little live stream from my back garden. I say a little, it was about 3.5 hours, which I think is the longest live stream I've ever done from my back garden. It's not the longest one I've done from in here. I think that's 4 hours 34 is the record. I don't know how long we'll go tonight. We'll see. But yeah, it was a bit of an ad hoc stream from my back garden to do something on Bonfire Night. I know you guys really enjoyed that. We got half a dozen selection boxes, all costing under £20, and we fired them all, the contents of everything, and we worked out which ones we thought were best. If you missed that stream, go back and watch it. It's on my channel. There we go. Let's catch up on the chat. Yes, everybody's still saying hello to everyone. It's great to see so many familiar names as well in the chat. So let me know how your Bonfire Nights were, guys, in the chat. Those of you who've done displays, obviously Craig is doing his display on Saturday, and I hope that goes well for you, Craig. And also, we should say a big congratulations to Craig and his daughter Olivia. They won a competition recently. Those of you might have heard of Celtic Fireworks. They're a big, reputable brand of fireworks here in the UK. They do consumer stuff. They do professional stuff. They did a competition called Light Up the Skies, where you could use they have a really good show designer thing on their website where you can see all their products in 3D and you can rotate them and view them from different angles and stuff. They did a competition recently where you design a fireworks show using their products, and the best one wins that display. And Craig and his 5-year-old daughter, Olivia. Hello, Olivia, by the way, if you're watching this live or on the replay. You probably won't be watching it live, will you? It's 8:30 at night. You're probably in bed. But if you do watch this in the replay, hello. And they won. They won this competition. So congratulations to Craig and Olivia on that. If you go on to Celtic's media, social media and stuff, you'll actually find a link to the show builder file for their display that they designed, and you can watch that. I've watched it. It's really good. So yes, not got to that yet. It's still in discussions with them. Yes, I won't talk about that on the stream, Craig, because you might not want me to. But yeah, hopefully that will get sorted out. So Harry is here. Harry says, hi, what are you going to do with your Manchester fireworks? So officially it's still postponed as opposed to cancel. But I did chase it up with the organisers a couple of days after Bonfire Night. So Bonfire Night was on the Tuesday. I contacted the organisers on the Thursday. For those of you who don't know, the reason it was postponed basically is because the organisers at the 11th hour weren't sure if they needed approval from Manchester City Council to be able to hold this display. It was going to be on a privately owned football pitch, but apparently the football club, privately operated football club, apparently the football club have a long-term lease. They long-term lease the land from the council, and the football club didn't know if there was anything in their long-term lease that prevented them from doing fireworks. So trying to contact the council was sort of, they were kind of all seemed for it, and then communication just sort of dried up from what I understand. So it wasn't a case of the council turning around saying, no, you can't do it. It's just that the organisers didn't know if they needed council permission, and that's why it's been postponed. But I contacted them a couple of days after Bonfire Night and said, you know, where are things up to? Have you heard anything from the council? And they basically came back and said, there's radio silence at the moment from the council, and really it's getting a bit too late to postpone it now. This was 2 days after Bonfire Night. So I don't know. I've not been told it's definitely never going to happen. It's looking quite unlikely it's going to happen anytime soon. Whether it's going to be postponed till next year, I don't know. So I've obviously got a load of fireworks for that show. If you watch my streams from my garage a couple of weeks ago, you will have seen me prep quite a lot of those. So I've got a lot of them here, a lot of them on another address as well, because obviously can't store that many in one location at any one time. We talked about that on one of the streams as well. So yeah, I don't know when that's going to happen, which is a shame, because if you watched my Liverpool display, there's a footage of it on my channel, along with a video I did with audio commentary as well, which a lot of you really like as well. If you saw that display, to sort of put it in context, my Liverpool display, the NEC, the net explosive content of that show, net explosive quantity actually, NEQ, was about 3 times my Liverpool display. So that gives you some idea of how good it would have been. And if you saw all the prep that I did with all my candle frames and all those kind of things, then you kind of get an idea of how good that would be. So I'm hopeful that one day I'll be able to put that show on. Might have to wait till next year, who knows. So a little bit frustrating, shall we say, but hopefully your Bonfire Nights went better than mine. Although that said, those of you who were here on my stream on Bonfire Night, we did have a lot of fun in my back garden firing 6 selection boxes off, so my Bonfire Night wasn't all that bad. I'm glad I did that, because otherwise I would have just literally sat in my room and been really kind of down on Bonfire Night and not really done much. So I thought, let's go out, buy some selection boxes, let them off in the garden, stream it for you guys, and between us we'll decide which one we think is the best. So that was a lot of fun. Everyone's saying congratulations to Craig and his daughter. Craig says, I'll show her tomorrow. Appreciate the shout out. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No problem at all there, Craig. And well done to you and Olivia again. Josie says, sound like a damp squib situation in Manchester. Yeah, it's really frustrating. I say, if the council had turned around and said no, that's one thing. But the council haven't turned around and said no. It's just nobody knows whether we need council permission to do it on this privately owned and operated football club that lease land long term from the council. It's complicated. So I was just doing the display. I wasn't involved in all that side of things, and as far as I was concerned, it was all going ahead. I got the written confirmation it was going ahead back in October, so I went ahead and bought all the fireworks, did all the prep, which you guys saw, and then literally found out on the Friday before Bonfire Night. So Bonfire Night was on the Tuesday, found out on the Friday there's a chance it might not go ahead, and then on the Monday, so literally the day before Bonfire Night, I was told no, we're going to have to postpone it. So that's where we're up to on that. If they cancel, they should still pay for the fireworks, really. Yeah, and I would normally agree with you on that. However, so this display, this Manchester display, was actually going to be kind of in my community, and there's not been one in my community for many years. There's nothing local really in my community that's available to the public. The City Council as well used to put on big displays like Heaton Park in North Manchester and Wythenshawe Park, close to where I am in South Manchester, and they've all been cancelled as well, so there was nothing. So I really wanted, I've wanted for a long time to be able to put something on for my local community, a public display. And I say an organisation got on board and was like, yeah, we want to do that. So I'd actually contributed a lot of the fireworks to that. The deal was, without going into sort of technicalities, it was basically I was going to pay for the fireworks if they would pay for the rest of the event costs, so the stewarding, the first aid, the catering, all those kind of things. So because of that, it was out of my own pocket, and so I can't really go back to them and say, give me the money for the fireworks, because it was always going to be my gift, if you like, to the community to do that. So that's where we're up to. I say I'm hopeful they can get these issues resolved soon, or if not, at least for next year, and we can do the display that I was going to do then. The good thing about fireworks is if you store them correctly, store them without getting damp, without big temperature changes, you know, not in humid environments, they will last for years. So I'm not concerned that, oh, the fireworks will go off. Obviously, there's an issue with how long you can store fireworks legally in terms of the quantity together, and that's why this display is split up between here and another address as well. So, but that's kind of where we're up to on that. So, Bulletproof Mum is here, says evening all. Evening, Bulletproof Mum. Everyone's saying evening, evening, evening. Matthew is here. Matthew Wilson. Hello, Great Marko. I just want to say thank you for your videos. I got my list of good recommendations from you for my Bonfire Night display. Keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate that, Matthew. Thank you. That's a really nice comment. Thank you so much. That's really kind of you. So yeah, how was your Bonfire Night, guys? Did you organise displays? Did they go well? Was your weather okay? The weather okay actually was great here. It was really quite mild. It's gone really cold now, so I'm kind of shivering a little bit in my garage. Normally I put a heater on, but obviously because I've got a shed load of fireworks here, I'm not going to be putting an electric heater on in here anytime soon. But it's fine. Talking to you guys will soon distract me. We'll soon warm up, and I won't be feeling the cold. But yeah, I hope you guys all had good bonfire nights too. So let's get into it. What am I going to do on this stream? I'm going to start dismantling things. If you saw my streams prior to Bonfire Night, I made some fountain tables on my speaker stands where everything's kind of gaffer taped onto or cable tied on. So I need to get all those fireworks off. I made some cake boxes as well. Little sort of drawers with cakes, cable tied in. Need to get those off as well, because obviously the spent fireworks I need to eventually get in the bin, and they will be going in the bin. My general waste bin gets emptied once every 2 weeks, and it's not a particularly big bin, so I'll probably still be getting rid of my fireworks from my Liverpool display probably until like middle of January, if I'm honest. So, but we need to kind of start the process rolling of getting them all off and getting them into bin bags and stuff. 3D Printer Guy says everything went well, only one low break. Other than that, I can't complain. Yeah, so out of my Liverpool display, again, if you watch my video with the commentary, you'll know what didn't fire. But out of the 100, however many fireworks, I don't even know how many fireworks were in that display, a lot of fireworks. I had one of the T1 crackle mines not go, and my 3 Spectrum fountains. But other than that, everything else fired, which is really good. So you always expect some things to not fire on a show, usually 1 or 2. So I'm really happy with the numbers of ones that didn't fire on that show. So yeah, low breaks, yeah, they're always tricky, aren't they? But as long as your audience are far enough back, then it shouldn't cause an issue. So let me grab one of my fountain tables. They're kind of all dotted on boxes and all sorts of stuff around here. There's one there, that's a big one. Let me get a smaller one to do first. Let me grab this one. So I don't know how interesting this stream is going to be, because it's getting rid of old fireworks and putting it into bags. So, but then I never know how fun these streams are going to be, and they always end up being really fun, and they all go off in really kind of weird tangents, and it's great. I love it. I love it. 3D, not 3D printing guy, some mad random person who's out of the shower saying feeling fresh. Very good. Right, so this is, which board was this? Let me have a look. I did name and number all these. So this is board C. So this was my center board out of my 5 sites. So this is the one that had the 3 crackle mines in like a W formation. So I've already taken off, you might see there's a bit of a gap in the middle. Ones that didn't fire, I take them off actually on site. So as soon as my display finishes in Liverpool, I obviously leave everything to cool down. If there's any fires, if anything bursts into flames, which a couple of things did. I think I had a cake that burst into flames, it smouldered afterwards and burst into flames. And I think a few of the fountains as well were smouldering and stuff. So I leave it a little while. If I see flames, I will go and I'll pour water over it. If I see something smouldering, so smoke coming out, I will go and pour water over it. Leave everything for a good half an hour or so at least. And then I will also go round and just check whether everything's fired. So the things that haven't fired, I will then remove them and put them in a separate box, keep them separate from all the fireworks that have gone off. So that's why there's already a firework being taken off there, because I took that off on the night after the event, because that was one of the Spectrum fountains that didn't go off. So I've removed that. So I know all the fireworks on here have gone off. So these are all safe to dispose. 3D printer guy says hashtag undo the work. Some random person says evening everyone, my display went well, no failures, which is always a bonus. One ran 30 seconds over, and another was about 30 seconds under. But apart from that, all went well. And yet that is always the challenge with using consumer fireworks to do displays that are kind of choreographed, either to music or just choreographed in terms of time. The duration on pieces can really vary wildly. I had to, on my show, if you watch my show, my Liverpool show with the audio commentary, there were times when I had to pause my show because something was running on longer than I was expecting, or skip ahead to the next cue because something finished earlier than I was expecting. So it's a bit of a kind of a dance, isn't it, really, to get everything to work. But the ways around it is to always make sure that you've always got at least two things going off at any one time. And that's where if one thing finishes, you've not got dark sky, you've always got something else, and you can kind of do it like that. But yeah, I'm pleased that went well for you. So some mad random person. 3D printer guy, I got the hose pipe out at the end after an hour, even though there was no fire, just like to cool it off. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And what you can do, I mean, if you're doing something in, for example, my garden, if I was doing some big cakes in my garden, it's a private space, it's enclosed space, I would be quite happy after the display's finished, leaving those out overnight. Douse them down, obviously, if they're smouldering or flaming, cool them down, but not actually move them, just leave them there till the next morning and then clear them up. The longer you can leave them, the safer it is. I mean, I've had fireworks that will smoulder and then burst back into flames after about half an hour of them firing. And it tends to normally be the 1.3G stuff, or the stuff with bigger bores, where there's more power, more powder and more power. I have heard reports of people saying things are bursting into flames an hour and a half after their display. That would be really quite unusual, but half an hour is kind of what I expect. But if in doubt, just go around, put water on everything. If you've got a hose pipe, use a hose pipe. What I tend to use on my display sites, I'll show you. Well, I don't really need to show you because you guys know what these are. These are basically, I just take a load of 2-litre bottles of water with me. These are just old fizzy drinks bottles that I just take the wrapper off, fill them with water, take them with me. Always take half a dozen or so of these onto site. And these are great for just tipping into fireworks at the end. So that's what I personally use. But again, if I was doing something in my home, in my garden, yeah, I'd use a hose pipe. You could use fire extinguishers as well, of course. You can. What on the company that I crew for, they even have these cool things that are like backpacks that you fill with water, and they have like a pump action. It kind of looks like Ghostbusters, a little pump action kind of hose to put things out as well. But really, something like that is absolutely fine. To put stuff out. I say I take about half a dozen of them. It depends how big the show is, really, as to how many of those I take, but that's a kind of a cheap way of doing it, especially if you're doing something that's away from a tap or a hose or something like that. Taking some water with you in a container like that is a good way to do it. So some mad random person kept the sky full so it wasn't noticeable yet. Hope you get to do your Manchester display before the year's out. Yes, I mean, you know, I guess there's a chance it may be Christmas, New Year, we'll see. Obviously, you guys, I will keep you guys up to date, obviously, if anything changes. Hope you get to do your Manchester display before the year's out, especially after all the hard work, yes. And that's just the work that you saw on the stream. Obviously, there was lots of work prior to that, deciding what fireworks to buy for that. There was also lots of, because it was a brand new site that I'd never done fireworks on, so site visits, risk assessments, like, you know, 30 odd pages of risk assessment for it. If you want to know about risk assessing, by the way, I did do a live stream last year all about how to risk assess your firework displays and stuff, so that was quite a good stream, I think. So go back and watch that if you want to know about risk assessing. But yeah, I'd done that. I'd done a big stewarding plan, because the organisers were like, oh, how do we best steward this? So I'd done a big stewarding plan. So lots of work had gone in off stream, plus all the hours that we did on the stream as well. So a lot of hard work, a lot of expense. Hopefully one day I'll be able to put that show on somewhere for someone. We'll see. How did the FireTech system perform? Said 3D printer guy. Overall, it was okay. There were a couple of issues with it, which I will do a separate video about. But basically, I've been testing a new firmware for FireTech that has improved support for telons as well as e-matches. basically it's a professional system, so it doesn't really have a massive amount of support for talons. It has a bit of support, and you could basically put an entire module into talon mode. But I was like, well, it'd be actually useful if you kind of set per channel whether something's got a talon in or an E-match. So they've done a new firmware for me. I was testing that. There were a couple of things that didn't fire that should have fired. There were a couple of things that fired completely out of sequence as well. I do talk about that in my video with commentary on from Liverpool. So for like these crackle mines, which were designed to go right at the end of my show, and I've checked the scripts, they are in right at the end of the show. I've checked the connections, they're in the right channel. They fired unexpectedly midway through the show. And I don't have an explanation for that, and Firetech don't have an explanation for that at the moment, other than the fact is, other than what they say is, well, really, you should be using E-match. So we'll see. More testing to be done. But overall, I mean, it didn't. The fact that these went off midway through, the audience still liked it. They didn't know it was meant to go off at the end. So no big loss really there. I say so. 3 of those went off earlier than expected. Well, it wasn't just 3. It was 3 of these and 1 on the far stand. One on the other stand didn't go off. I don't know why, because those stands were done in parallel. So they should have both gone off. I don't know. And then I say the Spectrum fountains, the nice little jelly bean fountains, they didn't go off at all. And I had 3 of those on 3 separate boards, on 3 separate channels, on 3 separate rails. None of them went off. Again, I've checked my script. The script's right. I've checked the patching, where everything's connected into my rails, and that's right. So I can't explain that either. But everything that had an E-match on, in terms of on my other module, because I had 2 modules. I had one module doing everything on the speaker stands at the front. I had another module doing everything on the floor, so all the candles and the cakes at the back. Everything on module 2 fired perfectly, no complaints at all. Module 1 was the one that had a mixture of talons and E-matches, and so potentially some issues there. It could just be bugs in the firmware, because it is a brand new, it may even be an unreleased firmware, I don't know, but it's a new firmware I'm testing. I will be doing a video about it at some point, but overall, yeah, I'm relatively happy with Firetech for my show. It fired okay, because it was always this was the first show I was going to use it on. It's always really nervous when you arm the system and you press the fire button. It's like, is it going to fire? And it did. So overall, I'm happy it fired. So Baby Lisa is here saying hello Baby Lisa, I hope you are recovering from your operation. Bruno is here and says hello Bruno. Christmas is in 41 days. Yes, it's getting close. Bruno says, I'm your fan because I love fireworks. Thank you, Bruno. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a fan. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you can be a fan by subscribing and clicking like on this video. It's not even a video, is it? It's a live stream. Unless you're watching it on a replay, in which case it is a video. I'm waffling now. Jeopardy and Brexit at the end was amazing. Yes, I used Brexit at the end of my Liverpool display, along with loads of other things, and it worked really well. Brexit's always a good one to end with by Celtic. Baby Lee says, hashtag Mighty Marko. Harry says, I went to Hunstanton fireworks and they had a laser show. How about a laser show? Yeah, there is. I don't know if you guys have seen this footage of the fireworks at Alton Towers this year. They always do a big fireworks show. And I've seen the footage of it, and to me, I thought that it was kind of the fireworks were drowned out by lasers. So lasers themselves, yes, they're good. If used sparingly, yes, they can enhance a display. But if you get to the levels that it was at Alton Towers, where, you know, is that fireworks actually behind the lasers? I can't tell, because there's just so many lasers. So there's a time and a place for them. But I'm quite happy to have a firework display without lasers. So... with the laser show for how about a laser show for my firework display? Will I ever do lasers in a firework display? I don't know. I'll never say never. My new Firetech firing system does have a DMX output, so I can control like stage lighting. So I could potentially add lighting, flame effects, sparklers, those kind of things into shows, maybe one day in the future. But I like to kind of keep it old school, keep it down to just fireworks. But never say never. So... lasers are cool, but they can't replace fireworks, in my opinion. Yes, say Susie Printing, I agree with that. Bruno says, my friend Marko, I see your Mickey Mouse fireworks in Magic Kingdom. I was making plans for launch animal shape fireworks. Ah, right. So I think I know what you're talking about there. Yes, I did I know a lot of my followers are from the Disney community. So there's quite a few videos on my channel relating to Disney fireworks. there's one of my, in fact, my most popular video on my channel is all about the Magic Kingdom over in Orlando at Disney World, and where all the firework launching positions are for their displays, which is really quite, it took me weeks to do that video. It's my most popular video. So if you're interested in seeing where all the different positions are, where they launch fireworks from over the castle for the Magic Kingdom, go check out that video. It's one of my best videos, I think. But yes, I also did one about Mickey-shaped shells. So at one stage, Disney had shells which burst into the sky in a Mickey head. So, you know, the face and the two ears. So I did a video about that. Why don't they do that anymore? So if you're interested in that, then go check that out. But Bruno's obviously seen those videos, so thank you for that, Bruno. Josie says, I don't like laser shows. I think they're going to steal favour away from regular pyrotechnics in the train. Yeah, and I can see that. And the thing is as well, there are actually more restrictions on lasers than fireworks, to be fair, because lasers obviously travel a very long distance. So I wouldn't be able to do lasers where I was going to do my Manchester show. My Manchester show was quite close to Manchester Airport. So I did have to get CAA approval for that, which I did. But they probably would have said no to lasers given how close it was to the approach for the runway. So lasers do come with challenges. They look impressive. They look really good in the smoke. Lasers look so good in smoke. So I can see why people match lasers with fireworks, because they look impressive in the smoke. But say used sparingly, they're okay, but they can overpower the fireworks, and then that detracts really, I think, from the display then. So 3D printer guy sounds good. The only thing I don't like about FireTech is the Wago connectors. I like the speaker push terminals, but still, do you know what? I was, because I've come from a WPS system which has these speaker terminals, the spring-loaded ones, and I wasn't sure how much I'd like these Wago ones. I actually really like the Wago ones because it's so easy. In fact, I'll show you in a minute how easy it is to get all the... In fact, we might even be able to do a bit of a speed comparison test, because I think I've got one of my WPS slats with speaker terminals over here that's got things in. Yeah, I have. So we'll see how long it takes me to get the igniters out of one of these versus the back of one of these. We'll do that in a minute. Chris is here, Kamara Brocade. Hey Mark, glad it's not just me who still needs to strip boards. Yes. Baby Lisa with the hashtag bag of clay bung bits. If you're new and thinking, what? Go back and watch one of my streams from a couple of weeks ago. I can't even remember which stream it was, but we came up with all these kind of weird and wonderful hashtags. That was one of them. It makes sense if you watch that stream. If you're new, that hashtag won't make any sense. Bruno, I'm subscribed, of course. Very good, thank you. Mickey Mouse was my childhood, says Baby Lisa. I love the addition of lights and lasers to displays, but they need to enhance the pyro, not replace it. And that's it, isn't it? That's exactly what I'm saying. There's a place for lights, there's a place for lasers, but if it's a fireworks show, you want the fireworks to be the focus. So if those other aspects enhance it, yeah, but if they become a bit too much, that they obscure the fireworks and take the focus away from the fireworks, then to me that's a no. Can I beat the smell of Bonfire Night pyro coupled with skies all lit up and the thud of fireworks? Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things I love. I love being outdoors on Bonfire Night, and that's why I stream, because it's nice to just sit in my garden and just listen and see all the fireworks going off all around. I know not everybody likes that, I get that, but quite a few of us do. So, Marco, what was your childhood when you were a kid? What, in terms of what, Mickey Mouse and Disney, things like that? I was never really particularly into Disney. As a child, I mean, everyone's aware of Disney, aren't they? Mickey Mouse and things like that. I went over to Disney World when I must have been, I think, 15, maybe, when I first went over with my family. I didn't think I'd like it. I thought, oh, I'm too old for this. But actually, I really enjoyed it. Epcot back then, Epcot in the 90s was amazing. It was all about science and technology and space and the future. And as a teenage boy, that kind of really appealed to me. Magic Kingdom really didn't do anything for me back then. But going back as an adult, because I took my wife there on our honeymoon back in 2019, before the pandemic. And I really loved it. Even though I'm an adult now, I could still appreciate everything. So... but yeah, Mickey Mouse wasn't really a part of my childhood as such. So TV shows, what were my TV shows growing up? Oh, I'm gonna have to think about that. What did I used to watch? Children's TV when I was growing up. Well, in those days, we only had BBC One well, we had all the channels, but in terms of children's TV programs, you had BBC and you had ITV. They were the only two that were doing children's stuff, and they'd only do them from like 3:30 in the afternoon till 5, 5:30. That was it. That was the extent of your children's programming. So there was very limited things you could watch. We didn't have the internet, so you couldn't stream stuff. We didn't have on-demand services. There was literally those two channels, and they were doing kids stuff. So you were kind of limited to things like Blue Peter, Scooby-Doo, Funhouse, Clarissa Explains It All. Those kind of things like that. Those were the sort of things I was watching growing up. So Super Ted, yes, Super Ted. Raggy Dolls. I was a little bit older for Raggy Dolls. I know my sister, who's a couple of years younger than me, she was really into Raggy Dolls. Here we go, Thundercats. Yeah, I never really got into Thundercats. Ninja Turtles. Of course, back then they were called Hero Turtles, weren't they? Because the censors were worried that saying the ninja kind of implied violence, so we would call them Hero Turtles. So we're Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles when I was growing up. Rosie and Jim, yeah, again, a little bit. My sister liked that, but I was kind of a bit too old for that. He-Man, yes, I watched He-Man. Yes, I watched She-Ra. Biker Mice from Mars, don't remember that one. Banana Man, yes, I remember Banana Man. Inspector Gadget, that was another one. Danger Mouse. Balamori, yeah, again, that was 2000. Yeah, I was too old for Balamori by then. Funhouse, yeah, Funhouse was a lot of fun. Thundercats, He-Man, yeah, so many great programs. I even remember like things like Magic Round. I'm going to show my age now. Magic Roundabout, Bagpuss, Postman Pat, which I know is still going, but it's nothing the same as the original. I've got a 3.5-year-old daughter. I put Postman Pat on the other day. I'm like, what? Postman Pat's got a helicopter? What? I mean, I'm old enough to remember. It was a bit after I'd kind of grown up, but I remember when the Teletubbies first came out. Again, I was older then, so didn't really watch. I was aware of it. And again, watching that now because that's still going, and it's just like, oh, it's all CGI now, and they've got the Tiddly Tubbies as well as the Teletubbies, and you're just like, oh dear, don't ruin classics. They just don't make cartoons like they used to. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that. Inspector Gadget was Inspector Gadget. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. Get Your Own Back. Do you remember the Get Your Own Back? That was a good game show with lots of gunge. Anything messy, any kind of thing with a live audience with kids all cheering. So like Funhouse, Get Your Own Back, all those kind of things. Never really got into stuff like Grange Hill and the sort of the soap type stuff. But yeah. Postman Pat SDS stands for Special Delivery Service. Yeah. So yeah, we were talking about, spring-loaded terminals. Let me just kind of untangle this. I can't even remember what I had this from recently, but there's loads of igniters connected to one of my slats from my WPS system here. So let's just untangle it and then we'll see how quickly I can actually get them out of the spring-loaded terminals versus the ones on the back of this board. So let me just try and unravel all this first. Actually, there's not an awful lot of igniters connected in here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do you know what? Let's connect. Let me get one of my other boards. Let me see how many's in this board, because we've got to get it fair, haven't we? This will take 12. We'll get 12 on here. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to take a couple of igniters out of here and put them in the other one just for making it a bit more even. And we'll see how quickly we can get them out, because this was one of my concerns. I used to really like the spring terminals. I'm like, nothing's really going to get better than that, and so I was a little bit wary of the Wago connectors on the Firetech rails. But actually, it takes about the same amount of time to connect, but disconnecting is a lot quicker. So let's put a few of these in. So I've got 9 on here now. Let me grab some off another board down here. One, two, there's a couple there. And let's put these into my WPS slats. Okay, so there's going to be 12 igniters in my So that's for my WPS system, which are the spring-loaded speaker terminals. And I think I've got, let me just double check, I've got 12 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I've only got 11 in there. Let me grab another one to put in there from somewhere down here. Bear with me a second, folks, whilst I work out where that's connected. That's connected into there. Okay. I'll just trim this one down as well because they can be a bit shorter going into the Wago connectors. Let's get these little bits in my bag. So I hope one of you guys has got a stopwatch. I can time this in a minute. If you've not, go get a stopwatch, please, somebody. Okay, so I've got 12 igniters connected in here to the spring terminals. I've got 12 igniters connected into my Firetech rail at the back, and we're going to see how quick we can get them all out of either and see which is the best. So has somebody got a stopwatch? Let me know in the chat. Art Attack, yes, I remember Art Attack, yes, with Neil Buchanan. Yeah. Oh dear. Tom and Jerry as a kid, yeah, I mean, I will have watched some Tom and Jerry as a kid. Wile E. Coyote, yes. The Roadrunner, yeah. Roadrunners, yeah. Meep Meep, I remember that. Yeah, they don't make cartoons like they used to. Right, has somebody got a stopwatch to hand? Let me know in the chat, and then we'll have a little. We'll time each one and see how long it takes me to do. 3D printer guy, I'm in bed, not near one, sadly. Maybe I'll go to Magic Kingdom this year. Yes, I'd love to go back to the Magic Kingdom. One day I'll get them, I'm sure. Let me see if I've got. Let me see if I've got. I must have a stopwatch on my MacBook. Let's have a look. Clock. No. Timer. Time machine. FaceTimes. No. There doesn't even seem to be a countdown clock. I got a stopwatch. Tell me when you're ready, says Baby Lisa. Okay, we might do that then in a minute. Let's see if anybody else has got a stopwatch with them. 9 of you here as well, by the way, at the moment. Thanks for joining me on this Wednesday evening here in the UK. I must be able to find one online as well. Let me get an online stopwatch. There we go. Okay, stopwatch. Right, okay. I got a stopwatch now, guys. So, which one should we do first? We'll do this. We'll see how long it takes me to get all 12 of these igniters out of here. So, 3, 2, 1, go. So that was 14 seconds by my stopwatch. See if I can show that to you guys on the screen. There's 14 seconds on that to take 12 igniters out of this. Let me clear that. Let's get these out of the way somewhere. Put them down here for now. Now this is going to be a little bit more tricky only because this is kind of attached to the board. So I might have to kind of do this. How am I going to do this? On its end maybe. Can you guys still see that? Yeah, okay, right. It's also tricky because all the cables kind of go back on themselves as well. But let's see how quickly I can get these out. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. They're out. 5 seconds. So yeah, I actually now prefer these to the speaker terminals, because it's so much quicker to get those out. Like a third of the time it took to do the ones on the speaker terminals. So there we go. And Bruno, it says it's 3:06 p.m. in Mexico. Thank you for watching from Mexico. I love the fact this is international. I know you guys watch from all around the world, so thank you for your company here on this Wednesday afternoon for you. Wednesday evening here, it's 11 minutes past 9 in the evening here in the UK. 3D printer guy, hashtag Marko the Great Speed Machine. Now you've changed my opinion. Well, there you go. Okay, so let's get on to dismantling this board, shall we? We've been streaming 40 minutes and I haven't actually started yet, but then hey, you've come to expect this from these streams. I never get anything done on them. I get a little bit done, but we have fun and it's educational, so there we go. I had to stop watching timing you. Yeah, do you agree with my time? So say 15 seconds thereabouts for the 12 channels of speaker terminals and 5 seconds to get 12 out of the Firetech rails. So Firetech rails I think are superior in that regard. So there we go. Japan makes animal fireworks like octopus, pig. Yes, I mean you can get shaped shells, and Japan, China, places like that are where you'll see them most. In the UK, we get a lot of heart-shaped shells. We get smiley face shells. They're probably the two most common ones. I have seen in the UK once before cube-shaped shells that explode into a cube with 6 sides. They were amazing. I've only ever seen those once, but yes, obviously Japan and China, they do have some really impressive shells that we just don't have over here in the UK. It's Christmas markets in the Manchester Roundel. Yes, Christmas markets in many cities in the UK and indeed around the world will be starting soon. Okay, I'm going to start stripping this board then. So this is the remnants of board C from my fountain tables. Everything on here apart from the Spectrum fountain didn't fire, so I've already taken that off. So if you remember, I didn't cable tie, I gaffer tape things on. So I can try and peel the gaffer tape off, but what I find it's easy to do is just get my little pocket knife and literally slice down where I've gaffered them on to my brackets, and then they just pull off like that. These along the 4, this was this little pack of 4 Vulcan fountains. Really, really nice. Possibly even my standout piece from this year. The effects in these, even though they're short-lived, were really varied, nice and bright, vivid, really nice. Okay, go check out my display from Liverpool and you'll see these in action. Easily my standout piece, I think, this year. So let's get these 4 off. Say this is always one of the most dirtiest parts. The benefit though, of course, is it wasn't raining when I did this display, and I'm doing this, you know, over a week afterwards, so things have dried out. There's nothing worse, you know, I do this professionally, and so I do it in all weathers, and clearing up after a display in the rain, in the mud, in the cold, in the wind, in the dark, you get covered in all this stuff, but everything's wet as well. It's you know, you've got to really love fireworks to do it. It's not all glamorous. So I'm just going to put all these in a bin bag down here. These just go into my general household waste. I did a video actually last year, the year before, on how to dispose of fireworks, because if, like me, where you live, I have about 4 or 5 different coloured bins for different types of rubbish, recycling and garden waste and food waste and general waste and all this lot. And I quite often get asked, you know, how do you dispose of fireworks? Which bin do they go in? So I've done a video on that. You'll find that on my channel. Even my MacBook is getting covered in all the bits that are falling out of these. So right, so we got those 4 off nice and quick. This was the little TNT Crickets fountain. Really impressed with these. These are only £2 each, really small. Really good duration on them. There was actually 4 tubes inside, so it was a battery of fountains. This one's actually still a bit soggy. This one kind of did flare up again at the end. Did smolder, so I did put a lot of water on, so this is quite soggy. But yeah, 4 tubes in that. That did really well. I was impressed with that. Didn't have a particularly good height, but it had a good duration on. And so with 5 of them fired together, it looked pretty good. Let's get all these igniters off actually. So are these igniters reusable is a question I get asked a lot. No, they're not. Once they've been used, that's it. They've gone. So they can go in my rubbish bag as well. They do sometimes get melted as well. So here's a talon that's melted. Let me see if I can show you one that isn't melted. They're probably, most of them are melted. Yeah, they all get melted to a bit because they're plastic at the end of the day. So we'll just get these out of here. So these are all 50 centimetres or a metre. So I try and keep these as short as possible. The ones on the T1 crackle mines, these things here, these were pre-wired, so these had quite long cables on. So I will probably save those cables because they're always good to use as little extensions. But these really, there's no point in keeping that. And if the cable's damaged as well with fire, that, you know, that's of no use. So for the company that I crew with, we do actually save all these. We have to cut them all off and they all go into a big box, into a big skip, and then they actually sell them on for the value of the copper, which if you're a big display company and you're going through hundreds and thousands of these a year, it's probably worth doing it. If you're like me, on my own shows, you know, I'm using a few hundred of these at a time. It's not worth me saving and trading it in for the copper. It's just not worth it. But yes, for the company I crew for, at the end of the event, we have to cut all the cable off and save it. So let me cut some of these off to save. As I say, I think they're about 3 meters, the cable that you get on these pre-wired T1 things. So I can save that cable. That's not damaged. I can use that again if I need to extend an igniter. So I'll keep that one, but the other ones I won't. This one, I won't keep a great deal of it because it's kind of all burnt through. In fact, is it worth saving any of that? Yeah, I'll chop it off here. And this bit's okay. But this bit, you might be able to see that it's kind of all burnt through. So I'm not going to be reusing that cable again. So that can go. That's that T1. Let's get the other T1 off. Like that. The cable on this one's good, so I'm going to chop that off and save that to use as extensions. The T1 itself is going in the bin. Let's catch up on the chat. This is going to be interesting, trying to scroll on my MacBook with really dirty hands, but we will give it a go. Let's have a look. Craig says, be right back, I hope. Hashtag Pyro Passions, he's 3D printer guy. Bruno can speak 3 languages. Wow, that's impressive. 3D printer guy had some cat. Oh yes. How was your 3D printer experience? How was your Cat 4 experience? I hope you enjoyed that. I remember you telling me about that. You were going to go and get some experience crewing professionally this last weekend. So yeah, let me know what Cat 4 pieces did you get to do? Did you get to do any shells? Did you get some hands on with some shells, or was it just kind of candles and cakes and stuff? Let me know. Adam says, hi Mark, this new type of live stream is very interesting, and to hear your opinion and feedback about the items, lovely interview. Thanks Adam, I appreciate that. I say I wasn't really planning on doing this. I didn't do one of these kind of post display streams last year when I was doing all the setup in my garage, but so many of you have reached out to me over the last week or so and said how much you enjoyed these streams, so I thought let's do one more, why not? So thanks for your company Adam, great to have you here. 3D printing, I got to load some 6-inch shells with great fun learning. That was great. I'm so pleased for you. I'm really pleased you managed to get some experience with those. I see cube shaped fireworks, says Bruno. Yeah. Dave says, very interesting. Can you make anything big for the House of Parliament? Well, of course, that's why we celebrate Bonfire Night here in the UK. We commemorate the thwarting of a plot to blow up the Houses of Parliament back in 1605, something like that. And that's why Bonfire Night is a tradition in the UK. It's celebrated each year on the 5th of November. So these are the little traffic lights, cone fountains I had from Standard. They were actually okay. They had a nice colour to the flame, nice vivid colour, reached a pretty decent height, reasonable duration on them as well. I was quite impressed with these in my show. go, we'll get those in my bin bag. Bits of foil from the tops of them. I foil the tops. If you don't know what that's about, go back and watch my setup streams, and that will kind of give you some idea of those. Let's get this this bit off here as well. And these igniters, they can go in there as well. And with that, right, let's get these things off of the back. So this was a fountain by standard. It's oh so quiet. Long running one, I think about 40 seconds a minute, something like that. So reasonable duration to it. And quite over packaged for what it is. It has 3 tubes inside. I'll show you guys in a minute. So there is quite a lot of padding, packaging, puffery, air in this. But that said, it is still a reasonable fountain for the price. So yeah, 3 tubes inside there. Obviously, I've put water in it since because it was smoking after the event. But yeah, 3 tubes inside there. That can go in there. Let's get this one off. This is the Yorgi JF19 SOS fountain. I quite like this one as well. This is relatively inexpensive. It's got some nice effects in it that you don't really see in other fountains. I do quite like Yorgi fountains in general, has to be said. So I'm just cutting around my brackets. Of course, I put double-sided tape under these as well. You will have seen when I set these up. So there's no way these were going to fall off. But I didn't cut around that one. There we go. So yes, that had 4 tubes in. Again, lots of packaging on that. That would be for stability, so you could put that on there, unlike the fountain. But actually, I say in effect, there's just 4 tubes in there. The rest is just stabilisation, packaging, whatever. Potentially crewing again soon. It may be the start of something big. I hope so, 3D printer guy. Once you get the bug, you know, it's there, isn't it? So yeah, good luck with your endeavours on that. Let me know. Keep me up to date as well. How you get on crewing. That's really exciting. I'm really happy for you, mate. So I'm just getting bits of gaffer tape off here because I can reuse these brackets. I'll unscrew them and then I can use them again in future years. Same with the boards as well. I mean, the boards look kind of they look fire damaged, don't they? They're not. That will brush off, that will wipe off. I'll be able to use those again next time. Right, let's get off. I tell you what, these were really nice. If you saw my my display in Liverpool, if you saw the footage of it, weren't these blue Bengals nice from Celtic? 60-second blue Bengals. Really, really nice. I had no idea how they were going to perform because there's no landed footage of these yet. So I was giving these to sort of test and see how they performed. Really impressed with them. Didn't know, again, what height they'd be, how bright they'd be, how blue they'd be, how smoky they'd be. But actually really impressed with them. So these are Celtic 60-second blue flame, 20mm caliber, 35 grams net explosive content in these. The product code, for those of you who are interested, is ZX8018B. I'll put that in front of the camera and then you guys can screenshot that or whatever if you want. How readily available these will be, I don't know, but these were impressive. I'd like to see these in other colours as well. Definitely something I'd like to use again. Quite tall, but then again, it lasts 60 seconds, so there is going to be quite a lot of component in there. Can't actually see. I'd be actually quite curious to see how far that tube goes down, whether it goes all the way down just a little bit. Let me see, what have I got that I can... here we go. Got a tent peg. Let me just see if this tent peg, how far that goes down. Okay, so it doesn't go down that far. So, let's do that again. So it only goes down that far. So this bit is all kind of redundant. Yeah. Which is kind of what I expected, but equally it's like, well, why is this so long then? It doesn't need to be. It could be that long. Or a little bit longer because it'll have a base in the bottom. But yeah. Not sure why it's that long, but they're still really good nonetheless. Really like these. So I'm going to be looking out for those in some other colours as well, hopefully. But they're from Celtic, and they're classed as T1, so theatrical pyrotechnic. So it does mean, because they're not category F4, they're available pretty much for anybody to use. Interestingly, normally T1 products, and indeed other T1 products from Celtic, usually come pre-wired with an E-match. These didn't. These actually had a visco fuse and a fuse cover and all that lot. So that was unusual for a T1. Not really seen that before with T1s with fuses as opposed to pre-wired, but interesting nonetheless. Craig says Cart F2 or F3. T1 is what these are. So there we go. Craig says that's amazing. To 3D printer guy. I'm tempted to give it a go next year. Hard to commit with a full-time job and young family though. Yes, it is, because if you're crewing for a company, you know, the hours are unsociable. Let's be honest, because firework displays, the vast majority of the time, happen when it's dark. And in the summertime, it's really popular for weddings now to have fireworks with. And so if you're crewing for a company and they're doing a wedding display, you know, you might be starting work at maybe 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon to set up for a small wedding display, but then you've got to wait till maybe 10:30 at night, 10, half 10 at night in the middle of summer before you can fire it. And then of course you've got to wait for everything to cool down, you've got to clear it all up, you've got to get it back to base. So, you know, you might finish by midnight maybe, if you're lucky. Obviously on bigger shows, one of the big shows I did last year, it was so big that I think the net explosive quantity of the show was like half a ton, just over. And it was like a 3-4 day build. The event fired at like 8 o'clock in the evening, and I think we'd finished de-rigging by about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning in kind of October, November time, in the rain, in the cold. So yeah, it's unsociable hours. It's, you know, you've got to be quite hardy to be out in all weathers, in all conditions, to set up fireworks, to de-rig fireworks and things. So, but it is rewarding. You know, if you like fireworks, it is very rewarding. So watching the show from the firing position was great fun too. Yes, that's another benefit, being able to get great views of shows. I could enjoy it without the screams and the flashing one lights. Yes, I feel you. Yeah, I get you. 3D printer guy says, thanks Craig. I would say if you ever get a chance, then yeah, time is right to, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And there are so many companies. You just, you know, contact your local display company. Say you'd like some experience. It's possible to come and get some experience with you, and I'm sure they will sort you out. So there we go. Right, let's get this other crackle mine off here. Yeah, T1 says Craig. But say it's interestingly, because normally T1 stuff is all pre-matched. So like these, I mean these pyrotechnic, but these weren't actually Celtic. These ones, these were, I think these were Imperial Lotus. Let me see if I can get the label off, not very easily. I'm pretty sure they're Imperial Lotus. But yeah, other Celtic T1 stuff I've fired before. Have I got any old T1 Celtic bits around? Bear with me a second. I'll see what I can find. I don't know where I put it all now. Never mind. In there. No, I don't know where I've put it at the moment. But yes, all the other T1 stuff from Celtic that I've done in the past has all had pre-wired E-matches in. So it was quite unusual to get a T1 product from Celtic that had a visco fuse. Really quite strange actually. But anyway, they performed well, they worked well. Really happy with those. So let's put that in my box. That's everything cleared off the top now. Now I've got to get my little strobe off and the Catherine wheel. Catherine wheels. These Catherine wheels work really well actually. They're the Bright Star tricolour wheels. Not particularly big, not particularly expensive, not particularly big in terms of their effect as well. But actually I did 5 of them together. They all fired. They all spun around, which is always a worry with Catherine wheels. Are they all going to spin? They did all spin. And actually the audience really liked them. Maybe even more so than when I've used bigger Catherine wheels in the past. Sometimes I use like Celtic super spinners. Last year I used Celtic's bigger wheel. I can't remember what it's called now. Do the twist, that's right. But yeah, these went down really well. So, right, let's tip this up. It's got all the bits come off here. You can probably see. Catherine wheel, to get that off, obviously we need a hammer with a... Let's see if this is actually going to come off. Sometimes these don't come off. I don't think I've ever actually taken one off live on a stream before, so we'll see how this works. There you go, it's worked. And that's the remnants of my Catherine wheel. So again, that gets binned as well. I mean, I guess potentially you could take the centre bit out and put it in your plastic recycling. So yeah, let's do that. Let's be a little bit environmentally friendly, but the rest is just going to go in there like that. And then let's get this Yorgie white strobe off. I say I really like these. I use these in pretty much all my displays because they're inexpensive, last 60 seconds, really bright. I did a comparison video on my channel between these and Celtic's blinkers, and actually I preferred these. They were cheaper and brighter. Catherine wheels are a staple in my shows. Yeah, again, it depends on the type of show, really. So I had them in my Liverpool show because my audience were, relatively close. I wasn't going to put them in my Manchester show only because the audience were going to be like 50 plus meters away. And really, when you get an audience that's that far away, little Catherine wheels like that, you're not going to get the effect of them at all. You're going to need some really quite big, substantial sort of set piece kind of wheels for those bigger shows. But yeah, audiences do like Catherine wheels. It's one of the most popular fireworks. Right, so there's that bit done. I need to take all these brackets off now. You see how dirty my hands are getting now as well. Let me get my screwdriver. Let me get a little box for all the screws. Like I say, I'll be able to reuse these all again next year. Here we go. Here's a little box. Some of these are bent because you'll have seen I intentionally bend them to go up against like the conic shape of the fountains, or if I want to do single shots at angles and things like that, I bend them. But these are just little 50mm speaker brackets, shelving brackets. You get them from Amazon, about 30 in a pack. And they come with screws as well, which is a bit of a bonus. And because they're 50mm, they're exactly the right height, width for gaffer tape as well. So when you're gaffer taping around them, it covers it quite nicely. Where can we watch your display, please, says Dan. So my display from Liverpool is actually on my channel. I uploaded it a day or two after, did I upload it before Bonfire Night? I can't remember. A few days ago, last week. Go check it out on my channel. It's called Liverpool Firework Display, something like that. And you can go see it. So there we go. Craig says, I put a wheel in this year, not had them in the garden for a while. I think it'd be the first Olivia sees. Yes, she will love it. My daughter loves Catherine wheels as well. If you're doing something in your back garden, yeah, Catherine wheels are going to go down well with your spectators. Unless, of course, they don't spin. Because that's always the danger with Catherine wheels. You nail them into something, you light them, they spin round, they do half a turn and then get stuck. We've all had that happen. But we did actually talk on my streams when we were assembling those boards with the Catherine wheels on. We did talk about a few little tips to help ensure that they are going to go round freely. So go watch that for some tips. And it obviously worked because all 5 of my Catherine wheels spun round, which was good. So these brackets, they do have like 2 holes. I could put 2 screws in. I find that's a bit of overkill for what these are. So I just put 1 screw in per bracket. Dave says, do I shave my head? No, I just have this little hair. I used to actually, as a kid, I used to have loads of hair. I used to have really thick curly hair, and just over the years it's yeah, it's gone. But then that kind of, it runs in the family and I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. There we go. I think I'm going to keep my my FireTech rails on. I've got quite a few spare rails, so I think I'm actually going to keep that on that board for now. It's protected from damage by this lip, so I might keep that on there because it kind of fits on quite nicely. So there we go. There's my board. Obviously need to clean that down, which I'll do off stream because I've not got anything to wipe them with at the moment. We'll put this to one side and we will do another one. Right, let's do one of the ones that had some candles on, shall we? One down here. So I had two of these ones. They're a little bit different from the others because they had these candles and mines and things on. So same thing again. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the igniters out on this side. Right, again, let's see how quickly we can get these out. Not as quick this time, typically. There we go. Great. I'm going to push all these levers back down so they don't get caught on anything and snap off. Right, so I'm going to get all the igniters out of the way first. They should just all pull off like that. There we go, that's all the igniters off that board, and then we will start getting some of these fireworks off. I think we'll start at the back actually because we've got all these are the Vulcan mines. These work well, so I got a really good deal on them, which is why I've used them in my displays. Ordinarily, fountain start mines are not the ideal thing to use if you're doing something that's choreographed or timed, because it's virtually impossible to get multiples of them to all go to the mine effect at the same time. True mines where it's just a mine without a fountain start, great, yeah, they're brilliant because you get them to all fire together. But ones where it starts off with a fountain first and then ends with a mine, really, really difficult to get them all timed together. But it kind of adds to the fun because, you know, people know they're going to go off but don't know when. So it kind of worked. So there's two different versions. There was a strobing one and a crackle one. They both start off with a little white fountain. So I was firing them in V's on two of the front sights. And they worked okay. The other downside with these ones, you will have seen this when I was assembling them, they have plastic tops in them. You might even be able to see them behind me, perhaps on some of my candle boards that I've got for my Liverpool display. Normally fireworks, you know, if the shots, if they have anything, they've got little cardboard tops on them. These have little plastic things, well, quite big plastic things. So fortunately, they're brightly coloured, they're easy to identify, but you do need to kind of collect those at the end because obviously they're plastic, they won't biodegrade. So I did manage to find, I think, the vast majority of them, because I had 2, 4, 6, I had 8 in this show. I think I found 7 in the end, because they do fly off quite a distance. I mean, it's not a danger, you know, they don't go as far as the audience, but, you know, they don't just kind of fall off, they go off with a bit of a pop. A 3D printer guy says, I always love the smell afterwards. I kind of like the smell during, or the smell immediately afterwards. What I don't like, because of course I did this display in Liverpool, so I had to transport all these to Liverpool, I had to transport them all back. The smell in my car afterwards of all these spent fireworks, it's not the nicest of smells. But yeah, the smell whilst these are firing is nice, I like it. But the after smell, and indeed the smell in my garage for several days afterwards, is cleared now. But yeah, it's not the nicest of aromas. If I'm right, mines can legally be 50mm max. These ones, I think, where's my... I did have a ruler down here at some point. Here's a ruler. Let me measure the diameter of these. These look slightly less than that. They look about... I'm going to say these are 4.5. Yeah, these look 4.5 inch, 4.5 inch, 4.5 centimeters. So 45mm diameter. These ones. And then we had these diamond candles. If you've been following my channel for over a year, you'll know the backstory behind these diamond candles. If you're new, I'll give you a quick recap. So last year when we were doing these behind the scenes streams from my garage setting up for my shows last year, somebody asked a question about, you know, which are the worst brands of fireworks. And I basically said, I don't think there is such a thing as a bad firework. I think all fireworks can be good. So I thought I need to put my money where my mouth is. So I went out the next day and bought some really cheap diamond candles. I never used diamond fireworks in my displays before because I don't really rate them as a brand particularly. So I went out and bought a load of these Firestorm 140 candles, 140 shot red, green and blue pearls. They're about £3 each, which I didn't think was actually bad. And I put, I think in my display last year, I think I used 6 of them. And they actually held their own against some of the other products I was firing. So I kind of proved the point that there was no such thing as a bad firework. It's all about how you use them. You know, you can make bad fireworks or lower value fireworks look more impressive if you do them in multiples or at angles and things like that. So I was able to get these for about £3 again this year. So I thought, let's buy another load and use them again to do the job. They're 140 shots. So there's 2, 4, 6, there's 7 tubes in each of these. So 20 shots in each. Really small bore. I'm not actually sure what the bore size is on these. Let me try and work it out with my ruler. I would say it's about maybe 16. Actually, no, it won't be 16 because that would be more than 10. No, it's 6, 7mm. I would say 7mm. So really small bore. I say they're not particularly bright. The blobs that come out of here, they don't reach a particularly great height. But even so, use them in multiples and it does add something to the display. Yeah, the smell immediately after, says 3D printer guy. Yeah. I wonder if the tubes on them go all the way down. That's a good question. I would suspect they will, only because each one's going to have 20 shots in. So that's quite a lot to get in a small tube. But it's a good question. I'm also curious about that. So let's have a little look. I'll take the paper off the bottom. Yes. So the tubes certainly go all the way to the bottom because you can see the clay bung bits at the bottom there in the tubes. So yes, the tubes certainly do go all the way down. So I've no reason to suspect that the shots actually went all the way down to the bottom as well. But for £3, used in multiples, so I would never use one of these on its own. It would look pathetic in a display. If I was doing something in my back garden for my daughter, yeah, maybe. But you can use these in professional displays if you use them in quantities and use them creatively and things. So. But yes, to answer your questions, yes, the tubes do go all the way down to the bottom on those. Right, let's get the T1 Celtic Blue Bengal Flame off the back of here. That's a bargain. Yeah, and I agree, and that's why I got them. If they were any more expensive than that, I wouldn't really get them. But for £3 for a 140 shot candle, that's actually not bad for what they are. So yes, I used 4 in my Liverpool display this year. I used 6 in my Liverpool display last year, 4 this time. But actually, my Liverpool display, did I put some in my Liverpool display? I think I can't remember if I did or not. No, maybe I didn't. No, maybe I didn't put any in my Liverpool display this year. Oh no, I did, didn't I? I had 5 because I had them on my angled. Yes, they were going to go on the back of my fountain tables for those at angled out. So yeah, I had 5 in my display for Manchester. So, but yes, no, I agree. That is a bargain. I am always on the lookout for bargains with fireworks. It's like these little TNT crickets fountains. £2 for a fountain that lasted 60 odd seconds, something like that. Did some nice different effects. Didn't have a great height, but a lot of variety in there. Nice duration. Can't really go wrong with that for £2. You can see this one actually there's quite a bit of power in these because this one did catch fire again at the end. It's burnt through one of the 4 tubes, burnt through some of the side as well. So I had to put some water on that at the end. This one as well had these Snappy Day 100 shot candles in from Skycrafter. Let's get this out and have a look. I'm always curious. I do like when I'm dismantling fireworks, I like looking at the the makeup, the tube layout of fireworks as well. It's always quite interesting. This one's really interesting. The Hocus Pocus one. We'll look at that in a minute. But let me just try and get this one out and take the gaffer tape off. Like so. So yeah, 100 snappy days. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This has 10 tubes in. So 10 shots per tubes. The tubes do go all the way down to the bottom. Again, really small bore. It looks very similar, in fact, to the Firestorm 140s. Actually, this might be slightly bigger. This might be 8mm. 8mm tubes, I want to say on this. So fractionally bigger tubes. But again, these were relatively cheap as well. They just send up little colour things with a little snap on, hence the name Snappy Days from Skycrafter. So that can go in there as well. Craig says I have 5 for Sunday, firing 3 together, spread out vertically, and firing 2 in a V with the Catherine wheel in the centre. Are we talking about the Firestorm 140 candles? That's amazing. Did you get those as a result of watching my streams? I like that. Brilliant. 3D printer guy says that sounds amazing. Craig, are you recording the display? Can't beat that fountain. Amazing value plus a free bonfire. Yes, indeed. Yes. Hello again, says Bruno. Hello, Bruno. Thanks for still being here. Craig says, yeah, he's going to film it if he can. It's all hand fired, 1 cake at a time. Collecting pictures along the way to put a post up on the forum. Nice. I look forward to seeing that, Craig. Okay, now this is an unusual one. I like this one. Let's get this off the plinth. This is Hocus Pocus. It's a fountain and mine combination from Brothers. It had been around for years and then it disappeared a few years ago, but they brought it back, which I'm really pleased about because this one is always popular with audiences. So it starts off with a fountain for like 20 seconds or so, and then launches into a mine, and then goes back to a fountain for another 20 seconds, another mine, and then it does it one more time. So the whole thing lasts about 60 seconds, 3 fountains, 3 mines. So inside, I like the tube arrangement in here. I think it looks really cool. So the 6 tubes inside, 3 big bore, 3 small ones. So the small ones are the fountains, the 3 fountain sections. Those ones are the 3 mine effects. And it's fused in such a way that when you light it, it does one of the fountains first for 20 seconds, then the mine, then a fountain, then a mine, then a fountain, and then a final mine. Really nice piece this, called Hocus Pocus from Brothers. I'm really pleased they brought it back. So that's that. Let's get these little Vulcan fountains off again. Again, I say these were my standout piece, I think. This year, really underrated, really good value. Really lovely effects in these fountains. If you can get a hold of them. It's called Fountain Assortment from Vulcan. There is actually a dedicated review on my channel, so you can kind of see these in action individually. I really like them. Definitely be hoping to get those again for next year. Craig says we got them from the same place. They've been in the garage most of the year, yes. So yeah, there was a tricolour fountain here. There was a peacock fountain. There was a golden fountain, a silver fountain. Really nice. And then these are the traffic light cones again from standard. I had these on all 5 of my boards. And I like how they are actually true cone fountains. I have seen fountains in the past that look conic from the outside, but actually it's a gimmick. And inside there's a straight tube just leaned up against the side. Bit naughty. The way you can kind of tell if it's a true conic one or a fake conic one is usually by whether the effect comes out vertically. If you have a conic fountain like this and you light it and the effect seems to be coming out at an angle, it's probably not a conic fountain. It's probably hollow inside. It's got a tube, a single fountain tube that's kind of leant up against the side. Next time I come across one, I'll save the carcass and talk about it on a video. I think the last ones I had were, Bright Stars, some Bright Stars volcanic cone things. I can't remember the name of them now, but yeah, they kind of did that. Bit cheeky, because of course you think you're buying a conic fountain and you're not. Right, that's all those off. I've got to get the wheel off again, which is always the fun bit. Let's see how easily this comes off or not. Actually just do it this way, so I can lean on the board a bit. Oh, there we go, that came out okay. So we're saving the little plastic middle bits, why not? The rest is being binned. Like that. Right, I need to take my brackets off here. I might actually keep these V's on here because they were kind of useful to have on, but I will take all the tape off. If it's got a 99 flake, it's definitely a cone. Yes. Yes, absolutely. We are, of course, talking there of ice cream. I'm old enough to remember like when a 99 used to be 99 pence. Those days are long gone though, aren't they now? Got £2.50 or something when I last went to an ice cream van and saw what they were asking for a 99. Oh, and there was once when I went to an ice cream van and asked for a 99. They're like, "Yeah, would you like a flake in that?" I'm like, "Yeah, because otherwise it's not a 99, is it?" It's like... Anyway, I digress. 3D printer guy says it'll be like £9.99 soon. Yeah. Yeah, things are not getting any cheaper, are they? And the same goes for fireworks. Fireworks are getting more expensive. But that's why I like doing things like with those Firestorm candles that are only £3. I like kind of using cheap fireworks, but making them, you know, more impressive than they actually are just by themselves. So, you know, for using 4 of those cost me £12 to get a 20-second, 25-second double V firing of red, green and gold pearls, which, you know, is actually not bad. A Bulletproof Mum says they're £3 each here this summer, more sometimes. I think we talk about 99s. So yeah, if they're £3, then you have a choice. You can either buy you buy a 99 or a Firestorm 140. That's what we're missing. We need a retailer that sells both ice cream and fireworks. What's the worst air to size firework you've ever had? So if you watched my Bonfire Night stream, let me see if I still got it. I think I saved it for comedy value. So one of the selection boxes had a, where is it? Here we go. It had a little 16-shot cake in. I can't remember which box it was now. Was it the TNT one? Let me see which box it was. I think it was the... No, it wasn't the TNT. Which one was it that had the... Bonfire Deluxe? I don't know. I can't remember now which box it was. There was a box anyway. A selection box. And it had this, a 16-shot cake in it. And you think, oh, that's okay. An okay size for a little 16-shot cake in a selection box. You open it up and that was the cake. The rest was, I mean, that's melted away there. The rest was polystyrene. That was polystyrene, that was polystyrene. That was the cake. So a quarter of the size of that. And I think that might be one of the worst examples I've seen of packaging, how much air there is ever in a firework. I know it's not a big firework in general, but even so, I was expecting 16 shots to kind of take up all that space. And it was that there. That's one of the worst examples. I think the other one, we talked about the big 300-shot Roman candle kind of Gatling gun type things. Half of that is polystyrene as well. So there's a lot of packaging in a lot of fireworks. But yeah, that's this season, that's been my worst example of air, puffery, over packaging, whatever you want to call it. Joe says, oh yeah, the foam-filled firework flop, yes. You heard about the sack of a straight-up scam. Yeah, I mean, they've done it to give it stability, I guess. But then in one of the selection boxes we did on Bonfire Night, there were some little 7-shot cakes that were more like, they looked like candles, and they were fine. So I don't know why this needed to be like this. It's just to make, it's because we shop with our eyes. You know, if you see a selection box and it's got a 16-shot cake in that's this size and the selection box itself is only that big, you think, oh wow, that must be really good. To be fair, the cake itself, it did have some nice colours. It was very short-lived. It was over in like 5 seconds or something. But yeah, that was the extent of that cake. So I guess the lesson to learn is don't shop for fireworks with your eyes. I know that's kind of doesn't make a lot of sense because you can't shop if your eyes were closed. But what I'm saying is don't be fooled by the sizes, the physical size of fireworks, because that can be really deceiving. What should you be looking for? Look at the NEC, the net explosive content of the firework. That will give you an indication of how much power, how many effects you're going to get out of it, the kind of duration. Other things you can look at are the tube size, the tube diameter. Generally speaking, the bigger the tube diameter, the better the effects. 30mm is the largest tube diameter you can get in UK consumer fireworks. So look out for that. Look out as well whether it's 1.4G or 1.3G. We talked about that on one of the streams. Basically, that's about storage. But as a general rule, if a firework is classed as 1.3G, the effects are going to be more potent than a 1.4G. So there are things to look at other than the actual physical size of the firework is what I would say with that. So, worse than a bag of Walker's crisps, says Joseph. I have to eat a whole multi-pack for a snack. Yeah, I'm sure packets of crisps, especially multi-packs, they've got smaller and smaller, haven't they? They are really quite pathetic now. It's all shrinkflation, isn't it? The price stays the same, but they reduce the actual amount you get for that price. It happens with everything. It's not just crisps, it's everything. Toblerone is an example that springs to mind. The chocolate, the Swiss chocolate, the pyramid-shaped chocolate. Yeah, they've reduced the... they've increased the gap between the little mountains in that, so there's actually less chocolate, and yet the price is still the same. So, go figure. I think I will take these little supporting brackets off here for my mines as well. There we go. So there's board number 2 done. Dun, dun, dun. Obviously it needs a wipe down, but I'll do that another time. Let me, I'm running out of space here. So I've got a lot of fireworks from my Manchester display here, taking up space. But we'll move this board out of the way. That's board number 2 done. And yes, my hands are getting dirtier and dirtier. I'm just going to stop, have a quick drink. Try not to get my Disney mug dirty. There we go. That's better. Right, let's mix things up a bit and do a cake box then now, shall we? Let's try and clear a bit of this off. Used to be Tobler, used to be Toblerone, used to be Toblerone, now it's Tobler 0.5. I like that. Bedtime for me now, says 3D Printer Guy. Good night, everyone. Thanks for the live, Marco. You're welcome. Thanks for being here, 3D Printer Guy. And of course, don't forget, you'll be able to watch this on the replay, so you can watch the rest of this stream another night for some more entertainment. So, but thanks for your company, 3D Printer Guy. It's been great to see you on my stream again. Right, let's do a cake box. So this is one of my cake boxes from my Liverpool display. This was one I had in the centre. So this is slightly different because these were cable tied and gaffer taped and double-sided tape. There's lots of different methods of attachment here because of course there's more recoil in these than there were on my fountains, so they need a bit more support so that they don't jump out. The box is a great idea because it keeps everything in here, so if a firework malfunctions, starts firing out the side, it's going to be contained within this box. I had that on one of my displays, on my Liverpool display last year, where one of the cakes in these boxes malfunctioned and was breaking low and was kind of bursting out the side and stuff. It was all safe because it was all contained within this box. And this box is just a drawer from an old, I think it was from an old table, and that my wife had. And I was like, oh, before you throw that out, can I have the drawers, please? And she's like, what? Yeah. So yes, I collect drawers for using for fireworks. It works well. So in here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There were 7 fireworks in here, all cable tied on. So I drilled holes in the side of here, put cable ties around. So for example, if we take this one in the corner, there's cable ties around it. There's a hole there, cable tie around it. And then also I put, you won't be able to see it, you might be able to see it here. On top of the cable ties, I also put a strip of gaffer tape, duct tape over the top as well. And that was just to stop any vertical movement. So the cable tie stops this from moving around in here, but of course it could still jump out of the cable ties. So gaffer tape around on top of the cable ties just prevents that movement. You're probably thinking, why don't you just make the cable ties tighter? The danger with making cable ties too tight on cakes and candles is you can actually squash the tubes which will in turn prevent the shots from lifting out of the tubes. The result is they explode in the tubes and destroy your firework. And that might actually be what happened on my Liverpool display last year when I had one of these explode in the box. We'll never know, but yeah, so that's why we do cable ties, not too tight, just to hold them in place, and then gaffer tape over the top. Why are the Whistler Catherine wheels going out? Says David. He also says, hi from Wales. The Whistler Catherine wheels, you'll need to elaborate a little bit on that, David, and I'll be happy to answer that. Right. In the meantime, I'm going to start cutting off some of these cable ties from around here. The cable ties I had were not actually quite long enough to just use one, so these are all kind of, there's 2 cable ties on each. So we'll get that off there, and then we will get this one off here, like so. Might get this one off here. That. And so this also had double-sided tape underneath and on this side and on this side. So even though I've now taken the cable tie off, this is basically held on now by double-sided tape on 3 sides. It's still pretty... I could actually still lift this whole box up by that, and that's just on the double-sided tape because I've cut the cable tie off, and the gaffer tape is actually only on the firework itself and not on the side, so I need to kind of try and... But this is another reason why I know some people said on one of the other streams, why don't you just hot glue everything down? That's even more difficult to get stuff off. So there we go, that's now off. That was Royal Party from Kimbolton fireworks, little 16 shot cake, and I think that was one I had left over from a display a few years ago that didn't fire for whatever reason, so I put it in this display. Just going to try and get some of the, this is the remains of the double-sided tape. It's done its job. I find it easier to try and get it off now than leave the tape till next year, when it's more difficult to get off. But even so, that said, sometimes still pretty tricky to get off even now. I mean, it is 3M double-sided tape, which is good quality stuff. So years ago, the Catherine wheels did whistles, same as the fountains. Yeah, what happened? It's a good question. I'm trying to think if I can remember a Catherine wheel with a whistle. And off the top of my head, I can't. So it's a good question. Why are there no Catherine wheels with whistles anymore? To be fair, there's not that many fountains with whistles. If you watch my Bonfire Night live stream, or if you rewatch it, we put 6 selection boxes of fireworks to the test. And out of those 6 boxes, there was only 1 cuckoo fountain or whistle fountain in them. And it was quite short-lived. So it's a good question, though. I don't know what's happened to whistle effects and why we don't have more of them. Right, let's try and get this next one off. This was Fission from Pyroworks. Again, this was from the Liverpool display last year, 2023. It didn't go off, so I can reuse it again. It's not that it had partially gone off, it just hadn't gone off at all. The igniter just hadn't fired. So the firework itself was still perfectly safe to use again. You just have to store it well for the year, and then it fired absolutely fine. This time with a new igniter in it. Rodney says, my mate always uses glue, nightmare to get off afterwards. Yeah, it is. I don't, I never hot glue anything. Oh, that's, by the way, that was Razzle Dazzle. On one of my behind the scenes streams a couple of weeks ago, we were talking a little bit about supermarket pyro. And I said, actually, there's no supermarket pyro in this show. I'm like, well, do you know what? Let's go out and put some supermarket pyro in again. So similar to the year before when we said there's no such thing as bad fireworks, we put some diamond fireworks in. I went out the next day and I got 3 razzle dazzles. These are little 12-shot cakes. These were from Aldi, like £6 each. I got 3, so I had them in a fan in this display. Worked quite well. They're only at 12 shots. It's a shame because it's the same size as a 16 shot. But again, we're talking about packaging and air inside. You can see in there, there's actually polystyrene in there. The space, you could get 16 shots in this format, but they've just got 12 and they've filled it in with polystyrene instead. So a little bit gimmicky in that respect, but actually for £6, it wasn't a bad cake. 3 of them wasn't bad. Craig says 10 cakes sorted, 3 brackets per cake, 2 wraps of duct tape, fountain time. Yes, Craig's setting up for a show, a birthday show on Saturday. And David says, can you say hello to Di from Wales, please? I hope I pronounced that right. D-A-I. But yes, thank you for tuning in from Wales. We've got people from Mexico tonight. We've got people from the States. We've got people from Wales, all over the UK as well. Everybody's very welcome on my streams. Thanks for being here. If you're new to my streams, my name's Mark. I do fireworks. I do them professionally. I do them as a hobby as well. And my channel is all about fireworks. I'm all about promoting the safe and responsible use of fireworks. My stream and my channels are always family friendly as well, so the whole family can watch and enjoy. You won't get any bad language. You won't get me showing you anything dangerous or illegal. And yeah, that's what my channel's about. So if that sounds good and you're not subscribed yet, why don't you subscribe, enable the notifications, and that way you'll be notified when I do things like this and I go live and upload new content and things like that. So this one, I say these are really well held on just with the double-sided tape alone. And that wasn't an exaggeration. That's how well this double-sided tape works on its own. So you can imagine with double-sided tape and the cable ties around it and gaffer tape over the cable ties, that's not going anywhere. This was Solaris from Evolution. I had 3 of these in the display, all firing together as well. They look quite good. And then I had these little standard fireworks mini pearls. These are quite common, these mini pearl cakes. There's so many different brands that have them. Usually the 96 shot, and they just send little like red, green, blue pearls up. This was 128 shot, and I also like this one because some of the little stars kind of went into little white strobes at the tips, which you don't usually get from a pearl cake. So that was a nice little addition. So I think there were 3 of these in this show as well. On my 3 kind of cake sites. This was the centre site, part of the centre site. And then one on the outer side as well. David says, thanks mate, just feeling a bit down. Well, David, listen, you're very welcome here tonight, my friend, on my stream. And I hope this stream, provides you with a bit of entertainment, a bit of light relief, a bit of enjoyment as well. So yeah, there's the mini pearl cake. I say these tend to be fairly cheap. They're an absolute nightmare to e-match because the tubes are so small. So I don't really talk about e-matching on my channel too much, but there you can see all the 128 shots there. So this one was nice because it had little strobes in as well, which most other mini pearl cakes don't. Plus it was 128 shot as opposed to 96. Right, 2 more cakes to do on this board. Let's try and These little labels that I'm peeling off at the side as well, I probably should have shown you these. This allowed me to know what everything was connected to when I got to the firing site. So this says 2.2.8, it's kind of rubbed off a bit. So I knew from that that this was, that particular file was going to be connected on module 2, rail 2, channel 8. And that's how I do my numbering for my Firetech system. On my old WPS system, there were 12 slats and they were numbered A to K. So everything had like a A1 will plug into slat A, channel 1 and so on like that. Because Firetech's got multiple modules and different rails and things like that, so I do a module, rail, channel. Everyone does it differently, that's how I do it. So this was a Sputnik from Evolution, another 16-shot cake. And I think I had 3 of those as well in this display. This one, possibly my favourite cake, possibly my favourite 16-shot cake at the moment, and it has been for a number of years. Tranquil by Evolution. Let me try and take the label off so you can see. There we go, Tranquil. Lovely, lovely low noise cake, 16 shots. It's got lovely thick comet tails, golden comet tails. I used 3 of these. Say, if you've seen the video of my Liverpool display, you will have seen these. 3 of these. So this one in the centre was firing straight up. I then had one on either side of my sight firing across, all meeting in the middle. It looks really good. I really like Tranquil. Really underrated cake from Evolution. Possibly my favourite, well, it's definitely my favourite Evolution cake. Possibly my favourite 16-shot cake in recent years as well. So that was Tranquil. So that's everything out of here. I'm just going to try and get some of this double-sided tape off here. There's the, we were talking about the little cardboard discs earlier. So every single shot in every single tube in fireworks like this, they all come with a little disc inside, and it's part of the, it's required, it's necessary for the effects to work, but they all get fired out. So strewn across my firing site at the end, you get hundreds if not thousands of these little discs. They're biodegradable, so they're not an issue, but yeah, that's what those are. If you see those after your firework display, think, oh, what's that from? It's from your fireworks. Jersey says that handy idea, or try labelling up like that. I love my excuse to get my label machine out. Yes, I mean, I don't bother with a label machine only because, you know, these are single-use things. I'm using them once. It's only me that needs to read the labels. So I just get a piece of tape. That was just a gaffer tape and a Sharpie and write on. The other thing I do on my boxes, you might see these little arrows as well. I put little arrows on to show which direction they are to face to the audience. For this particular box, it didn't really matter because there was no angled effects in, but I always like to have these things on. That way I know whether it should go that way or that way or that way on my site. I know the arrows always point to the audience, so useful little thing to put on things. And I put that on my fan cakes as well. Normally if you get a fan cake, it will say on the top, like, you know, this side towards the audience, or it'll have an arrow on. Because I skim the top of my cakes to reduce debris, obviously that kind of gets rid of that arrow, so I then put another arrow back on to indicate which direction faces the audience. But yeah, how you number things, individual fireworks, it will very much depend on your firing system and how that's configured. So for my WPS system, I say it was a number A to K followed by a letter A to K followed by a number 1 to 12, and then that's how I knew where everything plugged in. For my Firetech system, it's module, then rail, then channel, so number dot number dot number, and that works quite well for me. I know how to read that and interpret that, and therefore I know where to plug everything in on the firing site on the day. So I'm still just getting all these double-sided tape bits off from the side and the bottom. As best I can. And then I'll be able to reuse this box, obviously clean it all out, but then use it again next time, whenever that might be. That's good. That's all the tape off from the sides. There is still tape on the bottom. Let's see how much of that comes up. Most of it's coming up. There we go. So what I will do is just tip all this, all the bits from there out into my bin bag. Like that. That will obviously need a good wipe out as well. Yeah, it doesn't look very pretty, but then hey, the audience don't see this bit, so it doesn't need to look pretty. So there's one of my cake boxes ready for cleaning and ready to go again for next year. Right, let's do another fountain table. We've done 2, we've got another 3 to go. We're picking up pace now. Okay, let's plug all the igniters out of the back. There we go, they're all out. Push all the levers back down on my rails so they don't get caught on anything and potentially snap off. That's good. Right, we strip all the igniters away, grab those and pull. There we go. And then we bin those because they are no use to me anymore. What you can do if you do want to reuse, I say you can't really reuse these, well you can't reuse them as igniters, but they are, the wire itself is single core, so it does kind of hold its shape really well. So you could, here's a little tip for you folks, cut the ends off like that, cut these down, maybe quarter them perhaps, like that and like that. And then you've actually got some twist ties. So if you've got food bags or whatever, you can wrap those round, twist them, you've got twist ties. So it's a nice little cheap way of, rather than spending getting twist ties, you can make little twist ties. Or you can use them in your garden for holding things up, you know, holding trailing plants up against garden canes or trellis or things like that. So they do have a certain amount of use, even though you can't use them again for igniters. Right, that's those done. Let's strip some of these things off. Let's start here with the lovely shiny Celtic blue Bengal flames. There it goes in the bag. I'm going to need another rubbish bag soon because this one's going to start getting a bit heavy. The little TNT crickets fountain. This still feels a bit damp. This will be, yeah. These really did catch fire. These little TNT cricket fountains. And then we'll do the oh so quiet one from Standard Fireworks, a low noise fountain. It is always challenging to find fountains that don't have crackle in. I mean, I don't mind the odd fountain with crackle, it's nice, but it can get a bit tedious when like every single fountain has crackle in. And that's why I really like the traffic light cones, no crackle. Really why I like these Vulcan fountains, no crackle. Because it does get a bit tedious when every single fountain starts off with a normal fountain and then descends into crackle. Yeah, that's quite damp, that. I must have put quite a lot of water on that on the night as well to stop that catching fire. And then we take off the Yorgi SOS fountain. 4 tubes in this one. Craig has popcorn for Saturday. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yes, for my bonfire night I had parking. Somebody asked, oh, do you not have bonfire toffee or treacle toffee? I did try that on a stream once. Well, I mean, I love bonfire toffee, or as I call it, treacle toffee. Love it. It's a bonfire tradition for me. I did try having it on a stream once, and then I couldn't really talk because my mouth was full of toffee for ages. This, if you saw my video from Liverpool, is this board A? Oh no, this is board E. It's board A, isn't it? One of the cones actually exploded halfway through. These are so small cones anyway that it's not really an issue. But yeah, one of them kind of self-destructed. This one's kind of burnt a little bit at the top, but on board E it fired okay. So these are the traffic cone fountains from standard. I was relatively impressed with these. They're not as good as the original traffic light fountains that I remember as a kid that Standard used to make, because there used to be a single fountain that used to cycle through the colours. So it would start off red, it would then transition into yellow or amber, and then go to green. And I haven't seen those for years. These ones are like a set of three, so one's red, one's yellow, and one's green. I would love to see the old traditional traffic light fountain back. I don't know why it was stopped. I mean, it must be fairly straightforward to make. Volcano popcorn fountain, sorry. Oh, I see what you mean. I think you'll be eating popcorn. Yes, right, I'm with you now. Yeah, the Vulcan popcorn fountain is, you're going to like that. I used that last year in my Liverpool. Sorry, I'm off camera there because I'm standing up because the chair's in the way. So yes, I used the Vulcan popcorn fountain in my display in Liverpool last year. I used 5 of them. Wow, they're a good fountain. They are crackly. They are really crackly. You get a few of those going. Wow, I used that as part of my finale. It was great. I didn't use it in my Liverpool display this year, but I was going to use 5 of them in my Manchester display. It would have been great. And incidentally, that's where you'll find the hashtag bag of clay bung bits. So after your display's finished, that's where you'll find the bag of clay bung bits in the bottom of that, Craig. But yeah, that is a really good... I have been really impressed with Vulcan, actually. Some of their products... In fact, I can't think of a Vulcan product that I've not liked so far. The popcorn fountain's great. This little selection assortment has been phenomenal. Really, really impressed with these this year. I said earlier, my standout piece, I think, this year. Vulcan they do a really low noise mine cake as well, called View. Really lovely layered mines, nice and colourful, low noise. There's no other mine cakes really out there like that. So that's a really nice one if you get hold of that. View from Vulcan. Really nice. And last year, the Bengal Fugo fountains, they were flares. Lovely pack of 5 coloured flares. I used those in my Liverpool display last year across the front. Looked really nice. They were Vulcan as well. So yeah, I'm really impressed with Vulcan. I'm hoping to see more of their products over the coming years. I know they're quite popular across Europe, but it'd be nice to see more of them in the UK. Same goes for Yorgi as well. I want to see more Yorgi products in the UK for sure. There's my Catherine wheel. Gone. Right, everything's off that board now, so we can start unscrewing the brackets. Pyroworks Mesmerised Fountain is about 2/3 air. Interesting. I have actually got some. I have fired the Pyroworks Mesmerised one because I've pretty much fired all of Pyroworks' original 22-23 range because I did all the landed footage for them. So yes, I have fired Mesmerised, and in fact I think I've actually got 3 Mesmerised fountains somewhere knocking around as well. It's interesting to hear. Yes, it's 2/3 air. Interesting. It's also interesting as well because that's a category F3 fountain, which is a little bit frustrating. So I can't, like, for example, use it in my Liverpool display where everything's got to be Cat 2. But yes, I do have 3 mesmerised fountains knocking around somewhere. But you're right, you do only discover, you know, how much air is in fireworks a lot of the time, you know, after they've fired. But again, I say air in a firework itself is not bad. We say air, sometimes we call it puffery or over packaging or whatever. You know, if the firework is good, I don't really care how much packaging there is in it. But yes, it is, sometimes fireworks do get overinflated in terms of their size, and you think, wow, that's impressive. And then when it comes to fire it, you're like, that's a bit disappointing, and you discover there's loads of air in it. There we go. Oh, one more on here. So yes, you can see how dirty my my board's getting as well from all this. So it's a dirty business, fireworks, literally. Right, let's do another cake box. We got 2 more cake boxes to do. We got 2 more fountain tables to do. So let's do a cake box. So this is one of my side cake sites. Again, very similar to the centre one. This slightly bigger box. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cakes in this. Again, there's my labelling on the side. I know it's upside down to you guys. I've got everything plugged in. So I'm going to cut the cable ties off the side of these. That, like that. Just noticed it's F3. I got it in an F2 deal. Luckily, spectators are 20 metres back. Yeah, and that is the really frustrating thing. I had some pieces this year that I had to send back because they were advertised as being F2, and it turned out that they weren't F2. And of course, for my Liverpool display, because the audience are so close, everything has to be F2, so I can't do anything F3. So yeah, I ordered a couple of, I think it was another couple of Evolution cakes, can't remember what they were now. And I won't name which retailer I got them from, but the retailer's website said they're F2, so I bought them. When they turned up, it said F3. So I'm like, no. So they arranged collection, and they gave me a refund, which is, you know, good of them. And I also got from them some little crackling fountains, which were advertised as being category F1. So I was expecting a safety distance of 1 metre. They actually turned out to be T1 and required a safety distance of 25 metres. So I'm like, well, they're not as advertised either. So I went back to the retailer and say they arranged collection, and they gave me a refund. So, you know, reputable retailers will do that. They will admit, you know, yeah, it's their mistake. They got the information wrong on their website, and they will usually sort you out. But yes, those Pyroworks fountains are F3, not F2. And again, I think that was a labelling thing, because I bought them originally a year or so ago to use in my Liverpool display, and then realised when I got them that actually they're F3. So I've still got them somewhere. I will use them somewhere, but I wasn't able to use them in my Liverpool display. I watched it on your channel, didn't seem overly dramatic, says Craig. What are we talking about now? Are we talking about the Pyroworks mesmerised, or are we talking about the traffic light cone that exploded on my show? As I say, yeah, they're such small cones that it was really not an issue. Probably the audience didn't even notice it. I noticed it because I noticed those things. But so here, another Sputnik from Evolution in there. What else have we got here? This is Fluffy from Celtic. Really like this lovely low noise piece with swirling tourbillons, so spinners that go up. Let's see if I can These are well stuck in. Let's try this one instead. This is how good that double-sided 3M tape is, folks. Can hardly get any of these out. Let's try this one. Oh, there we go. That one came out. Little one from Hallmark called Cracker, 19 shots. I got this fairly cheap as well. It wasn't bad. So 2 of these. Let's try and get... Oh, I need to cut the cable ties off these ones. Yes, mesmerised, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the mesmerised fountain of this with my own eyes. It was okay. It was nothing special, but it was okay. But I say, it's not what I'd expect from a category F3. You know, for an F3 fountain, I would have expected something a bit bigger in terms of its effects. So this is Button Moon from Skycrafter, 12-shot cake. They do a range of these cakes. They do a Button Moon, one called Immortal Jellyfish, and one called Snowflake to Avalanche. I really rate them because they're underrated. They're fairly cheap because they're only 12 shots, but actually the effects from them are really good. So, Button Moon there from Skycrafter. Let me try and see what else I can get out of here. So these 3 on this side were 3 cakes from a pack of gemstone fireworks I got this year, called 3 Wise Monkeys. It used to be called 3 Gems. I've rebranded it to 3 Wise Monkeys, but it's a set of 3 cakes. Each is 16 shots, 108 grams of powder, 109 grams of powder in each of them. I picked these up for the equivalent. I think it was a £15 for the pack of 3, so £5 for a 16-shot cake. I think it's not bad value. So these are called Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil, and See No Evil. 3 Wise Monkeys from Gemstones. Not bad. I wouldn't pay much more than that for them, but at £5 for a 16-shot cake, you know, that's not bad value at all. But yeah, you do need to shop around for your fireworks. Because say I found these, a pack of 3 for 15. Well, actually, no, it's a pack of 3 for 20, but if you bought 2 packs, then it worked out £15 each, which is, and I wanted 2 packs because I wanted to have them on my 2 outer display sites firing simultaneously. So I have seen, though, other retailers will sell a pack of these 3 for £40 for 3, as opposed to £15. So prices can vary wildly, and so it's always good to shop around. And if you watch my streams when we were preparing all this, I think I said I used about 6 different retailers to source all these fireworks. So I do have preferred suppliers, but I'm not just loyal to one supplier. I will shop around to get the best prices where I can. This is really... shows just how good this tape is. I can't get this off. There we go, it's coming, it's coming. There we go. Whew. So yeah, that was a Hear No Evil from the pack of 3 from Gemstone. This bag is now getting quite heavy, so I think I'm going to move this over here and grab another bag. Bear with me a second, folks. Okay, we'll start a new bag. So in the middle here, we've got another one of those 128 shot mini pearls. I need to get this one out first to be able to get to it. And this is a good one as well. This is from Brothers as well. This is Ultimate Battle of Colours. This has been around for a number of years, but actually all the footage that's that's out of here from Brothers is really grainy. It's really not great. It doesn't really do this firework justice. So I really need to get one of these one day and actually just fire it and film and get some decent landed footage. But I really rate this one, even though the footage that Brothers have is really poor. Ultimate Battle of Colours. It's, how many shots is it? Let's count them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 shots in kind of a circular kind of layout. Really nice. It's 102 grams of net explosive content. Again, F2, everything here is F2. That's Ultimate Battle of Colours. Let me try and get this mini pearl cake out. There we go, mini pearls from Standard. Interestingly, in here, I'm going to show you this. I didn't spot this at the time when I was doing my checks after my show. So 128 shots. Can you see anything odd with that? You can see one there that looks like it hasn't fired. But in actual fact, that shot's been put in upside down. So if I show you the bottom, you can see all the white clay bits in there. You can see there's one there that doesn't have any clay, and that's actually that one there. So they put a tube in upside down, and it looks like, well, it's obviously not fired because it's not been, the fuse won't have reached. But yes, they put one in upside down on here. Let's have a little, let me just take the, these are basically wrapped up. These are kind of like a strip that gets rolled up. So let's see if we can see if it did have a fuse, and I don't think it did have. So, of course, these are all gonna, these now obviously don't have a fuse in because the fuse is burnt through. But you can kind of see how this firework's made up of all these tubes. Let's just get down to that one. Here we go. And so it does have, interestingly, yeah, it does have the holes for the fuse in the right place, but yeah, it's been made upside down with a clay bung in. Anyway, so that's fine. We'll bin that. It's safe to bin. So that goes in there. I shouldn't have done that because now I've got lots of these little tiny tubes everywhere. So we've been streaming just over 2 hours now, 2 hours, 12 minutes. Welcome, everybody. Big thank you if you've been here for the whole duration of this stream. And a big welcome if you're just joining. My name's Mark. I'm in the UK. I do fireworks. I do them professionally. I do them as a hobby. My channel's all about fireworks and the safe and responsible use of fireworks here in the UK. And my content is always family friendly as well, so, and a lot of fun, I think. I think you guys think that as well. So yeah, so that's what this channel is all about. If you're just tuning in for the first time, if you're watching on the replay as well, hello. I don't think I've said hello to you yet. If you're watching this at a later date, why not say hi in the comments? Let me know you were here and you're watching it. I do read all the comments. I will reply. So these are the brackets in here were used. I didn't really use a lot of brackets in here because I mainly used the cable ties and the gaffer tape and the double-sided tape. For the cake in the middle, which was the little 128 shot, because it wasn't by the sides, I couldn't cable tie through the drawer in the middle. So I was going to use these brackets. The thing is, the base of this is quite thin. So if I was to screw through that, I wouldn't be able to. It would basically go right through, and then dampness and things would come through. So what I ended up doing with these, I actually gaffer taped these down like that, put double-sided tape underneath. So put the firework in the middle there on the double-sided tape. These were gaffered on 4 sides and then gaffered around the whole thing. So normally I say I would screw these brackets in to my fountain boards and things like that, but because the base on this was too thin, I did these little brackets this way instead. And as I say, I can reuse the brackets and the boxes themselves, everything else in these single use only. Alright, there's the 4 brackets out. Right, let's see if I can get these other cakes out now, because these are really well in. And what I don't want to do is pull the whole drawer apart, because I would like to use these drawers again. Let's try this one. There we go. So Fluffy from Celtic Fireworks, a lovely low noise piece. Celtic low noise stuff tends to have red wrappers. Their other stuff tends to have black wrappers traditionally. I know they're kind of branching out and doing more kind of graphic-y stuff on some of their designs now for their fireworks, but I kind of like the simple designs really, if I'm honest. And then this one here, let's try and get this out if we can. Sticker filler scraper under the cake. Yeah, I could do, but I say it's not just double-sided tape under there, it's down the sides as well. I could possibly do that if I can't get this off, or even just a screwdriver would do it, but it shows you just how good the double-sided tape is on these. I might need to get a screwdriver. Bear with me a second, folks. That's better. There we go. So Solaris from Evolution there. I think, did I have 2 of those, 3 of those? I can't remember. Right, let's get all the double-sided tape off here. Twelve of you here as well watching me at the moment. We are coming up to 10 to 11 in the evening here, UK time, if you're watching this live. If you've not yet clicked like on this and you're enjoying what you're watching, I know it's not the most exciting stream I've done ever, but if it's still providing you with entertainment, why not click the like button? Let YouTube know that you like this kind of stream. So again, these are all my labels of where everything plugged into on the firing site. So this one down here plugged into module 2, rail 3, channel 7. A big hello as well to everybody that's ninja watching at the moment. I know a lot of people watch my content, my streams, and don't actually chat, and that's fine. But welcome if that's you, if you're watching and aren't getting involved in the chat, you are most welcome here as well. I know there are quite a few retailers that drop in on my streams and don't chat, but watch, and they tell me they enjoy it. And so welcome if that's you. If you're a retailer watching this at the moment, welcome. I hope you've had a really productive, successful, prosperous Bonfire Night season. Next up, of course, New Year. And all being well, yes, there'll be another live stream on New Year's Eve from my back garden. Oh, I'm getting all dirty as well down my front. From my back garden, seeing the new year. We've done that now the past few years. let off some fireworks at midnight. And see out 2024, see in 2025 with all of you guys as well. The draws like they held up well. They really do. They do the job. So they're fairly solid. The bases on the bottoms are not the best. So I wouldn't be putting any big cakes in here. I wouldn't be putting any 30mm kind of bore stuff in here. But for little 20mm stuff, these are fine. These do the job. They hold up nicely. They, you know, if a firework is going to explode, it is going to contain the vast majority of it as well. And these are a good size. These are slightly bigger than my other one that I used before, so I was able to get like 10 cakes in here, whereas the other one I think I only got like 6 or 7 in. But they're nice, they're compact. It makes it really nice and easy for me to transport, you know, 10 fireworks to the site in here. I can stack them as well, because you saw the fireworks were kind of, most of them were below the level of here. I think Fluffy was just up a little bit, but most of them were under, so I could stack them as well to transport. So yeah, they do the job. They serve me quite well. I mean, they're not going to last forever, and I do get that, but those other ones that I've used those about 3 or 4 years now. I say one I've had to sort of take out of action because it got damaged last year. In fact, if I still got it, I might be able to show you somewhere. Yeah, I think I have actually still got it. I might grab that in a minute and show you the damage that was done to that one by the exploding cake in my Liverpool display last year. Right, we're nearly there on this double-sided tape as best as I can. There we go. And then let's try and tip out what we can from this into the bin. Like that, and there we go. That's ready for a wipe down and then to be put away for next year. And again, it's got a little handle on, so I can carry that quite easily. Right, let me see if I can dig out the drawer that kind of got damaged last year. It's over here somewhere. It's it's here, and it's full of, have a guess. What do you think it's full of, folks? It's full of hashtag clay bung bits, a bag of clay bung bits. Those are from my Vulcan fountains from last year, the ballast that's inside them to kind of give them stability. Because those fountains are popcorn bucket shaped, so they kind of go out, so they're a little bit kind of top heavy. So these in the bottom of them provide them with some ballast, some stability. So yeah, this is one of the cake boxes from last year. You can kind of see the damage that this cake did here. It was all contained within here, which was really good. What it did do though, it popped out the bottom, you might be able to see. So the force of this exploding did kind of force this bottom bit out. Even though it contained it all in here, it did its job. The bottom on here is now warped. So can't really use that again. Don't really want to use that again. So I've taken that one out of action. But it did its job. It held everything in safely. So even that malfunctioning firework didn't pose any danger to anyone. So yes, at the moment that's just got my hashtag bag of clay bung bits in. Oh, one of those bags just snapped, ripped. Never mind. We'll put this back over here for now. Out of the way. There we go. Right. Okay, we've got 2 more fountain boards to do and 1 more cake box. So let's do fountain board. So we'll get the igniters out first. There they are. Close all those. Let's get all these out. All the igniters. Like that. Now there was a crackle mine on here, a T1, so that does have a cable that I can cut off to use as an extension. Some of that did get a little bit burnt, so I'm going to chop that bit off as well because that's no use. That's a useful extension if I ever need to extend some igniters by a couple of meters. That's a useful thing to have. Right, let's cut some of these bits off. Let's start at the front here. This was also the board that this red traffic cone here actually kind of malfunctioned halfway through and went pop. Didn't actually go with a bang, but yeah, didn't quite go as expected. You can kind of see it's kind of half of it's disappeared. But yeah, traditionally when conic fountains go, they go with quite a bang. Because these are so small and it was fairly near the end of the fountain, it wasn't... I don't even think my audience will notice it. You can see it if you watch the video back of my Liverpool display from this year on my channel. You can see that red conic fountain going, but it's not that impressive. Now the bottom's actually come out of that conic fountain. Interestingly, again, this wasn't, you can actually see, so this was a little deceptive. There was a bit of air in this because the conic fountain didn't actually go all the way to the bottom. You can see the kind of the base is there. It had this over the bottom there, so it looked like the conic fountain was that high. Actually, inside the fountain is probably only that high. So again, the argument will be that having it like this with a wider base gives it more stability, which it does. But yeah, the fountain doesn't go down the whole height. Let's try and get this one off. That's kind of... So yes, that's what remains of my red traffic cone fountain on this board. And not a lot is the answer. TNT cricket. Again, this feels a bit damp. I must have put water on all of these because they were quite hot at the end. But that was in the most intact, I think, out of all of them so far. 4 tubes inside that. Lovely little fountain for £2, 60 grams as well. So a decent amount of powder in for its size. You know, when you think like this one, this Oh So Quiet one, from Standard, which, you know, is kind of twice the size of it. This only had 78 grams in, and the other one 60, so only 18 grams more than that tiny little one. Joseph says it's a particularly productive stream tonight, Mark, making short work of this job. Yeah, it is. We got off to a slow start, didn't we? I think it was 40 minutes before we actually started, 40 minutes into the stream before we actually started doing anything. But yeah, we're getting there. As I say, I've got one more board to do after this and one more box. So still a bit to do. But we're going to get it all done on this stream, which is good. Oh, there's another igniter there. Get rid of that. And get this little strobe off. Oop. It doesn't disintegrate in my hands before that. So yes, if you're the sort of person that doesn't like getting their hands dirty, then I suggest fireworks is probably not not the right thing for you to do, because it is dirty work for sure. Right, let's get the Catherine wheel off. With my claw hammer. This is actually quite a nice little hammer. I got this, I was B&Q or something like this. Because it's quite short, it's easy to carry around. You know, you can get hammers with really long handles. This is great for doing Catherine wheels, both hammering them in, but also getting them out. It's a nice little thing to easily carry around, easily put in your one of your boxes. It's not going to take up a lot of space. There we go. Oop. Right, let's take the brackets off. These brackets are, I think they're either stainless steel. I think they're stainless steel, these brackets. So they're not going to rust. I'll be able to use them again. Yeah, obviously they get a bit kind of discoloured from the flames and the fire, but these will be absolutely fine to use again next year, and the year after, and the year after. I got one of those mini hammers for Christmas a couple of years back. Now I know what it's for. Yes, really useful. As I say, the last thing you want to be doing is carting great big hammers around if you're going out doing fireworks. Obviously, I do carry a big hammer for hammering in the stakes into the ground. You could use this, but I prefer a bigger, like a lump hammer for that. But for doing Catherine wheels and things like that, this kind of thing, short little hammer is really useful. A nice kind of curve on my brackets here. Oh, I still got some gaffer tape on. Melted gaffer tape, but it's okay. I said one of my other streams, you used to be able to get, Marko used to make a tape called Gaffire tape instead of gaffer tape. So the word gaff with the word fire at the end, which was like fire retardant gaffer tape. Amazing stuff, really good. Very, very expensive. And I think because of that, it didn't really take off, and I don't think they make it anymore. But it was really good stuff. To be fair though, for fireworks, you know, normal gaffer tape kind of does the job, because there is a bit of heat, there is a bit of flame, but it's not there for long. So yeah, your gaffer tape might melt a little bit, but generally speaking, it doesn't kind of burst into flames. So I do still wish it did Gaffire tape, but at the price they were charging for it, I can see why it didn't really take off. Two more brackets. There we go, that's board number 4. Put that over here, out of the way. Right, let's do the 5th and final fountain board, and then we've got one more cake box to do. Right, let me bring this one over. Oh, without knocking my lights over. This one's got the Firestorm candles on, so it's a bit more bulky. So we'll get all the connections out first from here. There we go. Into my rubbish bag. Stand this back up. And let's get the igniters off. There we go. Just pull off, which is nice. Into the bag they go. Let's get the Vulcan mines off. So it's another nice little Vulcan product here, these mines, called Mine Attack, pack of 2. Fountain start mines, you get one that's silver titanium fountain with crackling star mine, and the other one I think is a silver titanium fountain with a strobe mine. Nice to see, because really you don't see an awful lot of category F2 mines, fountain start mines these days, that are available kind of on their own as opposed to like as in a selection box. So a pack of 2 of these, or it's a box of 2 in fact. Really good if you get them at a good price. I can't remember how much I paid for these, but I bought them in bulk. I bought kind of, I think, 10 boxes this year, which is like a carton's worth. So they come in a box like that, and you get 2 in a box. Silver titanium fountain in crackling star mine, silver titanium fountain in white strobe star mine. It says 6 meter height. Does the effect reach 6 meters? Maybe 5. And they last 10 seconds each, give or take. So that's, yeah, we're talking about Vulcan fireworks earlier on. Yes, another nice little Vulcan piece. And then the Firestorm candles, let's get those off. There's one. These are always worth, when you get candles like this that have kind of got a number of different tubes in, it's not uncommon for a tube not to have fired. So whereas a fountain that has a single tube, you can easily tell whether it's fired. The same goes for things like this that have multiple tubes but all fire through the top, so you can see if the tube hasn't gone. It's sometimes more tricky to see if a candle with multi-tubes, if 1 or 2 of the tubes haven't fired. But it is quite common, and the reason for that is the way these are fused. So each of these tubes inside a candle, so this candle has 2, 4, 6, 7 tubes in it. Basically the way it's fused as it comes is it has a visco fuse which basically goes into a bundle of fuses. So each one of those tubes would have had its own individual fuse. They would have all been kind of tied together or taped together at the top with a leader fuse in. Quite often you light the leader fuse and it lights maybe 5 or 6 of those, but doesn't light all 7. So always worth checking that your candle has fully gone. The way you can tell is if there's still at the end of it, if there's a piece of fuse sticking out of one of those tubes, that tube hasn't fired. So just be careful because your whole candle hasn't fired. In this case, I know this is fired because I can see there's no fuse remnants in any of those tubes. But as I say, if you get a 56 shot candle or 140 shot candle or whatever, and at the end there's a tube that's still got a bit of fuse in, it means that particular tube hasn't caught, hasn't fired, and so you know your firework is still technically live. Right, let's turn this around a bit. And actually you can see, yeah, there's a lot of damage that was done to this Snappy Days in the middle. Really caught fire. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Let me just get this rather soggy crickets bouncing off. I'm surprised these are still soggy because of course this display was now over a week ago. It's a week on Tuesday. It's now Wednesday, a week after, and these are still soggy because I put quite a bit of water on these because these did smoulder quite a lot at the end. Rob Fuzz is here. Rob says, "Hey Marco." Hey Rob, thanks for being here. Nice to see you. I hope you are, my friend. I'm getting quite dirty on this stream, Rob. I'm dismantling some of the fountain boards and cake boxes from my firework display in Liverpool last year. So I don't usually kind of stream this thing, but I thought it'd be fun to jump on. I know a lot of you guys enjoyed my live streams from my garage that I did in the run up to my display, so I thought, yeah, let's stream a bit of the dismantling, disassembly of the remnants of my display. So that's what we're doing, Rob. So thanks for being here. Nice to see you on my stream. I know we were talking about Disney a little bit earlier on this stream. If you like Disney, if you like the old school Disney, the old retro Disney, Rob has got a load of old school Disneyland, Disney World videos on his channel from the 80s and 90s and things like that. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, go check out Rob's channel. You may even see me appear on some of his videos as well. Right, let's try and get this one off. So yeah, this one really caught fire after it fired. It fired okay, so it didn't malfunction. It fired okay. But yeah, that's kind of what's left of that 100 shot Snappy Days. It's kind of like a bit of a cross section of it almost. You can see the 10 tubes in there, but yes, this caught fire and burnt down. Again, not a safety issue because it fired okay. Everything fired fine. It just smouldered a bit after the display and then caught fire. So I went and put some water on it and put it out, and that's kind of what's left. So yeah, it's unusual. That's the first time I've actually seen that on one of those 100-shot Snappy Day type candles. I do use these a lot alongside the Stinging Bees candle, which Skycrafter do. Both 100-shot kind of same sort of format. That's the most damage I think I've ever seen on one of those. But I say, not a safety issue, not a safety concern. It's absolutely fine. And then we'll get rid of this one on here as well. We go, Hocus Pocus from Brothers. Lovely fountain / mine combination there. Audiences really like that one. A little strobe off the front of this. These strobes work really well this year. Don't know what it is. I use these in pretty much all of my displays, so it's not the first time I've used these in Liverpool, but the number of people that said, oh, they were really bright. Like, yeah, they were no different from any other year, but right, now let's get the Catherine wheel remnants off. Came off nice and easy as well. Great, right, let's get some brackets off this board then now. And then this will be all of my fountain boards from my Liverpool display, disassembled. You may be able to see in the background, those are all my fountain boards for my Manchester display, which hasn't happened yet. So they're all ready to go, they're all prepped. But obviously I've taken all the fireworks off those and put them back in their boxes. But the boards themselves are all kind of all bracketed up. You'll have seen me do that on one of my live streams prior to Bonfire Night. They were all ready to go, and yeah, they're now just waiting there. I wanted to keep that one in because I want to keep these V's on here for now. There we go. And this one off here. Oop. There we go. Right, let's just tip all the debris off there. Right, last but not least, we've got one more cake box to do. And again, this is a mirror of the other cake box. So these were at the rear of my site on opposite sides, 10 cakes in each, firing up, all fairly small bore. I think 20mm is the biggest bore we've got on here. So cable tied on, so drilled holes in the side, cable tied round the fireworks, put some gaffer tape over the cable tie as well to stop the fireworks sliding up and down with the cable ties. There's also double-sided tape underneath and on the sides of all these fireworks as well, so they are really well secured in here. Makes it really easy to transport them and set them up. And of course it also helps contain any issues if the fireworks explode. Just removing all my patching labels. This is where all the fireworks were connecting to my firing system. So this firework here was connected on module 2, rail 1, channel 14. This one was on 2, module 2, rail 1, channel 6, and so forth. And this one here, 2.1.4. So that's just the coding I use so that I know where everything needs to connect on the day on the firing site. And that works quite well. So I'm just putting the cable ties off these now. go. And we'll see how easily these ones come out. Let's start with this little 19-shot one from Hallmark. And then the 12-shot Button Moon. Came out okay. Let's try the ones on this side, shall we, first? Yeah, this is strong double-sided tape, folks. I say the tape itself will probably be enough to hold it, but you can never take chances, especially so on this display. As you guys may know if you follow my channel, this display in Liverpool, space is really quite tight, so I have to limit what fireworks I use, but also take extra precautions so if something does blow up, it's going to be well contained. So I want to take every precaution I can to stop this firework falling over, toppling, jumping out of here, all those kind of things. So double-sided tape on the bottom and the sides, cable tied round and through drilled holes in the sides of the box, cable tied through, and then gaffer tape over the actual cable tie itself. And that way these fireworks are not going to fall over, not going to jump out, and so everything should be contained if something goes wrong. Josie's saying hello to Rob there. I say, do go check out Rob's channel if you like kind of retro Disney. He's got loads of like footage, camcorder footage, VHS kind of footage from 80s and 90s, which is really nostalgic. I enjoy watching it. Bin bag's getting quite full as well now, but we are nearly finished, so it's all good. Welcome if you're still watching. We are nearly coming up to 3 hours into this stream, 2 hours 52. I appreciate your company if you're just joining me, or if you've been here for the whole close to 3 hours. You are very welcome. My name's Mark, by the way, if you're new. I'm in the UK. I do fireworks. I do them professionally. I do them as a hobby. And on this stream, I'm dismantling the cake boxes and fountain boards that I built for a display I did for over 700 people were at my display in Liverpool last week, a week last Sunday. If you want to watch that display, it's on my channel. Go and watch it after this stream. It's available with or without audio commentary as well. So there's two versions. If you want to just watch the fireworks, then that's there. If you want to hear my commentary as we go through that display, then there's a version of that on there as well for you to enjoy. So far as well, I can see that 175 people in total have tuned into this stream so far. Live, but I also know a lot of people watch this on the replay as well, so special welcome to you if you are watching this on the replay and you've been watching the whole thing from the start. I hope it's not been too mundane and boring for you. I've enjoyed chatting with you guys. It's been fun to catch up and hear how your bonfire nights have been. So we're nearly there now. Just got a few bits of double-sided tape to get out of here. And gaffer tape as well. So if in doubt, you can never have too much gaffer tape. You never have too much double-sided tape. I do go through quite a lot of rolls of this each year. It's fair to say. But again, you know, you've got to be safe, so. There's all my brackets. Go. We're nearly there, I think. A couple more pieces. One more to go. If I can find the end of it underneath all the rubbish. Oop, that was half of it. Whew, there we go. Right, let's just empty out all the bits from here. That's great. We'll put this drawer over here. I say I will wipe those drawers down, excuse me, and then put them away for my next display. I'll also wipe this table down as well at some point because this is covered in bits. But there we go, guys. So that's what I wanted to do on this stream. Dismantle my 5 fountain boards and my 3 cake boxes from my Liverpool display last week. So yeah, we're done. So what else is coming up on my channel over the next few weeks? There's going to be more landed footage coming. I filmed quite a few products just before Bonfire Night. I haven't had a chance to get them all up on my channel yet because I was busy doing my displays. So there's going to be some more product reviews coming on my channel, some more landed footage. There's going to be some more videos all about my new firing system by Firetech. I put a video out today about the modules. It's quite a long video, but if you're interested in Firetech and want to know more, because there's very little information out there about it, let's be honest, then go check out my Firetech videos. There will be a live stream, all being well, coming up on New Year's Eve, as we see in the new year together. We've done that for the past several years, and it's always a lot of fun, and I enjoy seeing the new year in with you guys as well. So that's coming up as well. Lots more good stuff on the way. Maybe will there be a live stream again before Christmas? You never know. Maybe there will be. I don't stream to a schedule or anything like that, so I just do streams as and when I feel like it. So the best thing you can do if you're not already subscribed is subscribe to my channel and enable notifications, and that way if I do go live, YouTube will notify you like half an hour in advance, which is nice of them, isn't it? So that's the best thing you can do. If you've not liked this video yet, why not like it? Let YouTube know. Go back and check out some of my other videos. Comment on them. I do read the comments. I reply to as many as I possibly can. And we're closing in on 2,000 subscribers now as well. I don't know how many we were away, but when I last looked, we're less than 100 away from 2,000 subscribers. Will I be doing something special when we hit 2,000 subscribers? I don't know. I did something special when we hit 1,000. I let off 1,000 fireworks for my 1,000 subscribers. So let's see what we do when we hit 2,000. Maybe that will happen before the end of the year. Who knows? We shall see. But yeah, I think that's all we're going to do on this stream. We've been going 3 hours exactly. We've just passed the 3 hour mark, guys, just as I was saying that, which is convenient, isn't it? So until then, whenever that then is, stay safe if you're still doing fireworks. I know some of you are still doing displays this next week. So stay safe. Let me know how you get on. It's been so nice having your company here on this stream again. It's been nice to see some familiar names in the chat, both here and on my streams over the past few weeks. It has been really amazing. It's made it all worthwhile. I've genuinely loved doing this. I do need to go and wash my hands now because they're filthy. 2,000 fireworks, says Joseph. Will I do 2,000 fireworks for 2,000 subscribers? I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure I'll do something. Quite what? We've yet to decide, but I've got a bit of time because I don't think I'm going to hit 2,000 like in the next week. So we'll see. Everybody's here. Oh, Craig's still here. Craig, listen, I hope your display goes well on Saturday. I think it is the 16th. And yeah, do show your daughter the start of this video where I said hello to her. I think she'll like that. Craig says, thanks for the stream. Joseph with the waving hand. I would wave as well, but my hands are absolutely filthy. So yeah, this gives you guys an idea of what it's like doing fireworks. It's not all clean. It's not all glamorous. You do get dirty. And this was just in my garage. Imagine what this is like doing that out on a muddy field in the freezing cold, in the pitch black, in the pouring rain. It's not glamorous. But hey, it's all part of the process. So there we go. Everybody's saying thank you. So yeah, I'm going to call it a night now. We're coming up to we've just gone past 11:30 here in the UK. I need to probably go and jump in the shower to clean off because I am pretty filthy. Thanks everybody, I do appreciate it. I know some of you do ask about PayPal. If you want to PayPal, you don't have to. There is a link in the description. It's paypal.me/thegreatmarko. It's never expected, always appreciated. Anything that you guys donate or tip towards the channel, it goes back into the channel. So my stream I did on Bonfire Night when I had 6 selection boxes and we compared them all and did them all head to head. You guys paid for about 3 of those between you. So thank you for that. So anything that I do get through PayPal, it does go back into new content, new things for the channel. So I don't talk about it a lot, but that option is there if you want. But until next time, whenever that is, take care and I'll see you again real soon. Thanks everybody. I've got to click several buttons now to actually end this stream, but thank you. Bye for now.